Fantastic. So I want to know where you're joining from. I'm currently in Alberta, Canada. So type into the chat and let's know where you're joining from. You're joining from the UK, joining from Canada, joining from the US, Tosin from the UK. Hall, brilliant. London, Ireland, fantastic. Winnipeg, France, Ghana, Dubai, absolutely fantastic. So that's the amazing stuff of having sessions like this, virtual sessions. You have the opportunity to learn from the best of the best across multiple regions. Now, let's get right into it. Okay. So, like I said, today's session will be absolutely phenomenal. If you have questions, please feel free, ask your questions, and we'll have an amazing time together. All right. So, I'm just going to share my slide so I know you can all see my slide and then we get started. Fantastic. Now, high paying work from home jobs. The beauty about this is there are a lot of people, and I'll give you practical examples, who think their past experience is useless simply because they've left Nigeria, they've left Ghana, they've left their home country to move to the UK, to the US, and other regions. And they really don't go ahead to apply to jobs. They go for the menial jobs, they go for the care jobs only, and they also try to get jobs in the warehouse and the menial jobs, typical menial jobs you'd find across. Now, what we're going to do today is to show you other opportunities and show you that you really don't have to you don't need prior work experience for you to land these jobs. And like I said, we're going to go practical. I'll show you where to get these jobs, how to prepare to get and land these jobs in terms of the skills required and the experience required. So when you say, well, Deza, you said we don't need experience. But when I look at job vacancies out there, one of the major requirements is 0 to 2 experience, 0 to 2 years experience, and so on. How do I gain the experience, or how do I present myself as the best candidate, having the right experience to land a job? That's the most difficult thing to do, but I'll demystify it today and show you exactly what you need to do to land those jobs. All right. Now, three key questions I'm going to help you answer. And if you've joined one of our sessions today, today's session is different. I'm going to be showing you new tricks, new insights into how you can land these jobs and the different strategies and approach that you need to take. The first question is, where are the jobs? Because that's where most people don't know where to start from. They don't know where the jobs are, what jobs are in demand, where do I need to look for these jobs. I'm currently in Canada, I'm in Alberta, I'm in Toronto, I'm in Winnipeg, like somebody joining from Winnipeg, and I've not been able to secure a job. So, what type of job should I look out for? And then when we answer that, would move to, what do I need to get these jobs? So you've seen a job, you're in London, you're in Leeds, you're in Hull in the UK. You've seen the jobs that are in demand. You want to apply to get these jobs, but you need the experience and you need the skills. Okay. However, the mistake a lot of people make is we look at this from the perspective of what we believe is necessary, not what the employers actually want. So today we're going to look at the job vacancies, and then we'll look at the skills that you would learn and how you can, combine the two to show that you have the skills and you also have the experience to land these jobs. And finally, we'll look at how can you start today. So if I want to start getting to a career path, how do I start? All right. So let's dive in. Who are we at Analytics? For those of you joining us for the first time, Analytics is the leading educational technology company focused on helping Africans in Africa and Africans in the diaspora to land high-paying jobs, especially within the tech ecosystem. And over the last 4 years, we've helped over 2,855 plus people to make that transition from the classroom to landing their very first jobs in the tech ecosystem. So you've had care workers become business analysts, you've had bankers become data scientists, you've had teachers become data analysts, and so on and so forth. And I'll be sharing some fantastic success stories with you today. The areas we focus on are within data analytics, data engineering, business analysis, cybersecurity, agile project management, financial analytics, HR analytics, and so on. And for me, I'll be leading the session today. I'll drive and pilot this session. And I'm a technology expert with over a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. So like so many of you, my first degree was in industrial chemistry. I had no background, I had no knowledge, nothing related to tech. But then I made that transition. So how did I do it? Over the last decade, I found Analytics, Amdari, two companies helping over 2,855 plus people with no prior tech background to land their very first jobs in tech. My experience spans across the UK, the US, Canada as a data science consultant, worked with Sahara Power Group, one of the largest privately owned energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa. And I've also worked with FITC as a data analytics consultant, FITC owned by the Bankers Committee and the Central Bank of Nigeria. And my experience spans across 5 different sectors, from energy to educational technology to financial services, automobile, and so on. Now, we're going to dive in to the main meat of our session today. And the very first question we're going to answer is the question of where are the jobs? Okay, so I want our session to be as interactive as possible. Are we having Power BI training today? No, not at all. This is not a Power BI training. Somebody sent that question to me directly. And I'm going to get as many questions as possible. Which of the tech package is okay for a master of management? Master of management with tech package? That's a very vague question, Oluwashola. But what I'll do for you is at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A. All right. So I'm going to look at those questions. A lot of the questions you would have now, I would likely answer them as I go through my presentation. Okay. But we'll have a 30 minutes Q&A session by the time I'm done, and then we can interact afterwards. Now, where are the jobs? That's the first question we want to know. We want to answer this question. Now, for us, this is very important because most people just decide to choose a career path because their friends are in that career path. I've had so many people reach out to me. Adez, I want to be a data analyst because my friend who just moved from Nigeria, moved to Canada, is now a data analyst. And I think it's easy to get a job as a data analyst. So I want to become a data analyst. But that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is through guided research. Okay, a process that is methodical, research-based, and shows you critical jobs that are in demand in those areas. Now, one of the ways we do this at Analytics, every single year, we scrape data from the major job boards across the 3 major economies, the US, the UK, Canada. We scrape data from LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor, CV Library, the top job boards. We scrape the data from there, and then we analyze these jobs to identify the career path with the highest frequency of demand. So where are the jobs going to? Where are recruitment consultants hiring for? Which roles are they hiring for? Which roles are companies trying to get people into? We do the analysis, and then we have a report that we keep somewhere. Now, after analyzing the data, we know that because a career path is high in demand, does not mean that it's easy to get into. Okay, and that's why we looked at 3 different criteria to identify not just the in-demand jobs, but the in-demand jobs that are easy to learn, easy to transition into, and have high and rewarding salary. Now, ease of learning, what does it mean really? If today I want to become a robotics engineer, I'd probably have to go back to the university to do a master's in electrical electronics engineering or so on. Okay, take me another 1.5 to 2 years for me to learn robotics, electrical engineering before I can become a robotics engineer, essentially. That's not easy to learn because it's going to take me about 2 years. I have to go back for a master's. If I want to become a blockchain engineer, the same thing. So even though these career paths are high in demand, they're not easy to learn. So we have to look at these 3 criteria. The first criterion, ease of learning, ease of transitioning, and high and rewarding salary. Now, when we added these 3 criteria, the filters, to the jobs that are high in demand, we came up with 8 career paths that if you want to get a job the fastest across the globe, you're in the US, you're in the UK, you're in Canada, you're somewhere in Germany, you're in Poland, in Europe, you want to land a job. These are the 8 career paths that would get you the job the fastest. The business analyst career path, the agile project manager, scrum master, the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, cybersecurity analyst, financial analyst, and last but not the least, HR analyst. So we did this analysis and we came up with these 8 career paths, but we also needed to be sure that we are not analyzing in isolation. So we decided to seek external validation to see which other reputable organization had carried out similar analysis in the past or in the most recent time. Now, since the year 2018, we've been following the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report. All right. So what I've done is I've kept the screenshots right here and I've kept the link for you to also download this report. But this is a report that anybody who is looking to stay relevant over the next 5 to 10 years, you must read this report. So it's a report that shows the future of jobs, which jobs would grow and which jobs would decline in the next 5 years. And this report is released every 2 years by the World Economic Forum. And the most recent one was released in January this year, January 2025. The most recent was released. So I've kept the link for you right here. So you can download the report and read the report. But I'll explain what this report aims to show every single one of us trying to transition. All right. So if you want to get my slides, have access to the links and the recording of today's session, make sure you fill the attendance form. Okay. Very important. Fill the attendance form. You get access to my slides. You get access to all the materials that I have. My colleagues, Oluwafumike, would Oluwafumike and Blessed would share the link from time to time. Okay. So that you have access to all the materials I'll be using today. Now, this report shows us the jobs that would grow in demand. That's at the left-hand side. And the jobs that would decline in demand at the right-hand side. Now, for anybody looking to transition, so you've been a banker back in Nigeria, you've worked as a logistic professional back in Ghana, or when you were in South Africa as a South African, you worked as an accountant, but now you've moved, you've left your country, you've relocated, you've gone to the UK, you've gone to the US, you've moved to Canada, you've gone to another country in Europe, and you can't get a job as a banker. It's a bit more difficult. You can't even land interviews. What do you need to do? You need to start looking at the areas that are in demand, areas where you have growth opportunities. Where are the demands for job today? And where will the demand be in the next 5 to 10 years? All right. So the World Economic Forum shows us this. And the very first jobs you'd see at the left-hand side, the jobs that would grow, the big data specialist, the data warehousing specialist, and then the data engineers. These are data engineering roles. And these are roles where professionals ensure that wherever data is generated, that data is moved to where the data is needed. So your banks, take your banks, for example. When you go to the store, you use your credit or debit card on a POS, you tap, what happens? A transaction happens. That transaction is recorded somewhere from the POS. When you carry out a transaction on your mobile phone, that transaction is also recorded somewhere. So Lloyds Bank, for example, in the UK, would want to know where are all these transactions. I want to analyze and see where a fraudulent transaction happened. They have to get data from their POS database, from the mobile application database, from the web database, the web application database, their ATM machines, collate all that data of transactions. How do they get the data? The data engineer would do what? Extract the data from those different systems, create data pipelines, ETL pipelines, and move the data to where the data is needed. And that's why data engineers are very, very important. Without them, data is not available. The data analyst, the data scientist, the business analyst can't do their jobs. All right. So it's in high demand. We are generating data at an unprecedented rate. Organizations are looking for professionals that can manage that data, handle the data, and make the data available when it's needed. So as a data engineer, you're not going to struggle to land a job. You are in high demand. Then you have the AI machine learning specialist, you have the data analyst and the data scientist. A machine learning specialist, an AI specialist is simply a data scientist. All right. So the data analyst, the data scientist, you find yourself in any of these career paths, you are in demand, high demand. All right. You have the information security analyst. These are your cybersecurity professionals. You are in high demand. You have the digital transformation specialist, the process automation specialist, the professionals that ensure that if a process takes 5 days, the only question they ask is, how do I optimize this process to take 5 minutes? What automation do I need to put in place? And these are your business analysts. Then you have the HR analyst, your organizational and development specialist, and so on. So you start to look at the top jobs listed by the World Economic Forum as jobs that are high in demand and jobs that would grow. And you see a pattern. The data engineer, the data analyst, the data scientist, the cybersecurity specialist, the business analyst, the HR analyst. You have the business intelligence analyst. These are still the data analysts. BI analyst, business intelligence is a subset, is a derivative of data analytics. The database architect, these are still data engineers. Then you have the project managers, but not your conventional project management, but this time around, your agile project manager, or you can call them the IT project managers. So these are project managers that work on digital products, technology related products. When you have your Scotiabank application on your phone, you have your EQ Bank app, you have your Lloyd's banking app, somebody manage that project to ensure that it meets the requirements of not just the company, but also the users. And that's the Agile project manager, leveraging the Agile methodology to deliver on that particular project. Then you have the business analyst as well, the management and organizational analyst. So you start to see very quickly that this aligns with the analysis that we at Analytics had carried out. And it was very clear that the pathway to land a job, if you want to get a job today, looking at the eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa in the UK, if you're in Canada, you look at the different provincial nomination programs across different provinces. In Alberta, for example, there is the Alberta Advantage Immigration Program, and this shows you the priority occupations that are definitely aligned to tech. I could open those links and show you, and you'd see the same career path. So if you want to get a job today, it's a no-brainer. I'm not going to look at every single job out there. I'm going to focus on the areas that are high in demand and I can easily land a job. The data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineering roles, cybersecurity, business analyst, financial analyst, HR analyst, and the agile project managers, or you can call them the scrum masters. So if I learn agile project management, it doesn't mean I can only get a job as an agile project manager. I can work as a scrum master. I can work as an agile coach. I can work as a PMO analyst, and so on and so forth. So there are so many job roles subsumed into that overarching job, you career path you want to get into. And that's something a lot of people also mistake. Because I've learned cybersecurity. What area do I want to specialize in? Do I want to be a penetration tester? Do I want to be a SOC analyst, security operations center analyst, and so on and so forth? All right. So these are the 8 career paths based on our analysis, based on the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs reports. And if we do a very quick search, I'm just going to do this for 60 seconds. I want to show you something very quickly. And this is part of the research I talked about at the beginning of the session. Just do a quick search. Eligible occupations for the skilled worker visa. Okay, it takes you to the gov.uk website. Open up that particular website. It shows you the career path with the codes, the respective codes that are eligible for sponsorship, essentially. The most recent was updated on the 9th of April. All right. And you can start to search the codes. So one of the first codes would go to is 2135. I'm just going to scroll down there. 2133 shows you the business analyst, the IT business analyst, and so on. So if I get a job as a data architect, a data engineer, an IT business analyst, is he eligible for the skilled worker visa? Yes. 2135 cybersecurity professionals, and you'd see the different job titles that are subsumed within that same career path. So you start to see very quickly, and we can go through all the different codes. They're on my slides. I'm going to share them with you. The data analyst 3544. If you go to 3544, for example, you see the data analyst career path. These are career paths that are eligible for the skilled worker visa for somebody in the UK. If you check the Alberta Immigration Program, Alberta Advantage Immigration, the you have one for BC, the BC Tech Pilots, for example. And all you have to do is to search. If I search for the British Columbia Tech Pilot pathway, okay, I search for this and I want to see the different career path. Okay, well, let me put eligible occupations. Okay, so just do your search and you'd start to see the career path. So without going into the website, of course, you can go to the website, see what it's all about. Telecommunications, computer information systems, data scientist, you can see that right here. Cybersecurity, business systems specialist, business systems analyst, business systems specialist are the business analysts. Database analysts, database administrators are your data analysts. And there are so many more, all right? And of course, you can also go to the website itself to search and you'd see those job roles. And this is how you start to see the career path. Okay, let's go to the eligible occupations very quickly. It's somewhere right here. Okay, let me see, technology. So if you go to technology, you'd see the cybersecurity specialist, business systems, database analyst, data scientist. So you need to know where you want to go to, all right? The career path you want to move to. And for those in the US, what do? All you need to do is to search for the job roles or the job titles that employers have petitioned for the H-1B visa. And that's where you see the career path that are high in demand. Okay. So again, I'm going to ask my second question for today. All right. Out of these 8 career paths, which of them do you see yourself getting into? Are you interested in? I want to be a data analyst, data scientist. Just type it into the chat. And let's see, I can have more than one. So if you're thinking of, you're not sure of one, Abimbola says GRC, fantastic. Governance, risk, and compliance is one of the areas in cybersecurity. So you're very deliberate. That's beautiful, Abimbola. Business analyst from Paul, data analyst, data scientist from James, agile project manager from Raji. Absolutely phenomenal. You can have more than one. You can have 2, for example, and then you want to narrow it down to 1 eventually. Okay. So that's the first thing you need to know. Where are the jobs? Where is the demand? Which career path should I get into? Question number 1 answered. These are the 8 areas you want to move into. Easy to learn, easy to transition, high and rewarding salary. And when you look at all the different priority programs, the visa programs, the sponsorship for those who want to get the COS in the UK, for example, these are the career path you want to focus on. And I'll show you success stories of amazing professionals who joined a session like you have joined today. They decided to get started, and today they have sponsorship. They're on their way to their ILR, and they got their skilled worker visa, 5 years to ILR, and another 1 year to citizenship. And people in Canada as well, in the US, across board, and would see how they got started. Okay, so these are the 8 career paths. Now, what do I need to get these jobs? That's the next question. So if I decide, like Abimbola, that I want to get into JRC, Okay, governance, risk, and compliance. What do I need to get a job? That's the most important question you also need to answer. And I say it's the most important because a lot of people flunk the requirements. They don't know what to do. They prepare for the job based on what they think is necessary. But you only know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. All right. But you need to look at this from the perspective of the employer. What would the employer want from me? If an employer is hiring for a GRC role or hiring for a data analyst role or a management role, what would they look for? Two key things. They only want two things from you: your skills and then your experience. Okay. A lot of people know this, but they only focus on the technical skills. All right. But technical skills alone would never get you the job. Not in 2025. You can be the best GRC consultant ever. You can be the best in the use of different technologies as a data analyst. You are the best in the use of Excel. You are the best in the use of Python as a data scientist. That would never get you the job if you don't have the employability skills. And I'm going to dive into that a little bit. Because if you don't have the right CV, you would never get into the room to get interviewed and land the job. If you are lucky enough to get into the room with a bad CV, you won't know how to answer questions, competency-based questions, behavioral questions, or simple questions like tell me about yourself. There are frameworks and there are techniques for doing that. I'm going to share a story that came in today, a success story that came in today. The lady joined us from the US and she has been trying to get a job as a database administrator for the past 1 year. No interview, no job opportunity. But guess what? She joined our mentorship session about 2 weeks ago, some weeks ago, and she learned how to answer the question, tell me about yourself. This is the question that you know that if you go into any interview, you're going to get this question. Tell me about yourself. Is the most asked question and is the question that has the highest failure rate of candidates because they don't know how to answer the question. And what we did was in that mentorship session, we taught the SEAT approach. S for skills, E for experience, A for achievement, and T for type of person. And based on this, knowing how to introduce yourself using the SEAT approach, she landed a job. And she shared the success story. I'll share that with you before we wrap up our session today. So your technical skills alone would not get you the job. I want you to know that and know that I have something extra to do to land that job. I'm going to double down on employability as we move on. And the most important is experience. You don't need to have done the job before. All right. We have somebody like Abigail, who was a care worker. Today, Abigail is a business analyst with the government of Alberta. Zero experience in business analysis. I'm also going to share Abigail's story with you. Now, how did she show that she could do the job? How was she able to convince employers that she had the experience to do the job? Even though back in Nigeria, Abigail worked with the FIRS as an administrative manager or something around administration, zero business analysis skills. But she had the experience because she got the experience from us. And I'll show you how you can also do that in landing experience. But we're going to dive into the skill first of all. So, of course, skills is tailored towards technical and employability. But we look at the technical because that's the given. Every employer wants you to have the technical skills. A lot of people do it wrong. They make the same mistakes I made over 12 years ago when I was transitioning. And what's that mistake? I'm going to learn it on my own, and I'm going to learn in a self-paced, 100% self-paced environment. If this is what you are doing, you are going to get frustrated and you are going to drop out of that program eventually because you'd stumble on very difficult problems. So back in the days, I tried doing it myself. Oh, I'm going to learn on YouTube. I'm going to learn on Coursera. I'm going to learn on Udemy. But I always got frustrated. All those programs are still there till today. I never completed them. And that's because you face one problem and there is nobody to ask questions. There is no real human being to say, oh, I wrote this code on SQL, I wrote this query on SQL, and I got these results different from what you got. What am I doing wrong? And there's nobody to ask questions, or you ask the question, the answer comes back 2 weeks after, when you've already given up. So how do you ensure you learn the technical skills the proper way? You must always learn from a professional who has been in that industry, who has done it before, and can show you how to do it. That's the most important thing. So you're not just learning in a self-paced environment. You are learning in a self-paced environment, but you also have somebody who has done it and is doing it and can show you what you're doing wrong. And that's the fastest way and the best way for you to learn. So in learning the technical skills, you must ensure you have a blended learning approach where you are learning in a self-paced environment any day, anytime. On a Sunday morning, you can log in, practice, watch videos, learn something new. And then you also have the live instructor-led class, where in a session, you are with me in that class, we are solving problems together, we are working on projects, you ask questions, and you get real-time feedback. That's the best way to learn. We call this the blended learning approach. Okay, so if you're that person like a Bimbola who wants to become a GRC, a governance, risk, and compliance professional, and you're trying to learn it on your own, you're going to take far longer and you're likely going to crash out because there are certain nuances that you wouldn't be able to get trying to do it yourself. Okay, I've been there before, and there are so many people that have also been there. And the lady I talked about who was trying to get a job for a year and couldn't until she joined one of our mentorship sessions. That's the reason why she couldn't. She was trying to figure it out on her own, and she didn't know that there were better ways of doing things. So, how do you learn in a blended learning environment? I'm going to show you that. So, for those of you who maybe had joined analytics or you'll be joining analytics after today's session, I'm going to show you what a blended learning approach looks like. All right. So one of the first things you do is you have your dashboard. So you subscribe for one of the programs like Abimbola, you join cybersecurity, for example. You're going to have a dashboard. Okay. Your dashboard is where you log into. You can log in on a Saturday, log in on a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, morning, afternoon, any time of the day. And all you have to do is go to the program you've registered for. So if you've registered for business analysis, you'll see that right here. Okay. Financial analytics, you'll see that right here. Data analytics, HR, and so on and so forth. Okay. So say I've registered for business analysis. I come right here and I can click on what? Continue learning. So this is a platform where I can go to any time of the day and I can learn at my own convenience. So as a business analyst, I want to learn what project initiation planning and stakeholder analysis is all about. All I need to do is come right here. Let me maximize this so that you can see my screen better. So I come right here, I go to project initiation, I click on that, and immediately I can start watching the video on project initiation planning. All right. I'm learning from a professional business analyst who is on the job, who has over a decade experience teaching me and showing me exactly what to do when it comes to project initiation planning. And the best part is every single module has its own case study. I'm going to come back to the case study. So when you learn project initiation, there's a case study as well. Now, the case study is a part of what gives you the work experience. And I'm going to come back to that and explain how. So the case studies are designed from professionals who have done the job. We get their experience and convert them into case studies. So all the problems they've solved as a business analyst, you get to solve that same problem. So you are doing the job just as if you were working as a real business analyst. And that's the best way to learn. Now, say for any reason you have questions before, of course, by the time you join, everybody's in a WhatsApp group. You're there with your facilitator. You have questions. You can ask questions in the group. You get instant feedback. But say you are learning, you don't even want to, discuss with anyone. You want to just solve problems yourself. there's an AI trainer that guides you on every single thing you want to do. That AI trainer is Oluko, built using the latest GPT model, GPT 4.0. So if you click on Oluko, for example, Oluko is an in-house AI chatbot. Okay, not just a chatbot, it's a trainer. All right. So I come right here and I want Oluko to help me do something. So I'm watching my videos on RACI Matrix, for example, and I really don't know. I want to know how to implement it. So I come here and I type, my name is Adeza. Okay, submit. Oluko would ask me, what exactly do I want to do? Is it a career related question, course related question, interview prep, code based issue? It's a course content explanation. All right. So Oluko would say, okay, what exactly do you want? Ask your question. I'm happy to answer. And I say, I want to know how to implement the RACI matrix as a business analyst. All right. And I hit enter. And Oluko would start to think and give me direction step by step on exactly what I need to do. All right. So this is me learning, having all the tools that I need. And this is Oluko telling me implementing the RACI matrix as a business analyst is a great way to clarify roles and responsibilities. Step one, identify the project task. Step two, identify the roles. Step three, and it's showing you how to create and assign the RACI matrix: responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Now, once I've done this, I can go back. If I want to prepare for interviews, Oluko can also prepare me. Or better still, I simply go to interview prep and I schedule an interview appointment. And this is where somebody would join a call. So I come in here, I put the link to the job I've applied to, the details of the job, I enter it here. I select my interview stage. It's a first level interview, job description, interview dates, my interview preparation. I want it on Sunday, 27th. I upload my CV that I used to apply and I book my session. And somebody will join the call to help me prepare. Okay, so this is your dashboard. This is your learning platform. At any point in time, you can come in here and learn at your convenience. Then you have the live class. Okay, so for everything you do, there's always a practical application. How is it done in real life? If I'm a business analyst today, how do I solve this particular problem? And that's where you have your live classes. Your live class is in a different platform where you log into the class, and I'll show you a typical example. So let's go to this live class, for example, where they had a case study on project initiation and planning. Okay. So all the slides are here for you. You can come to the slides anytime. You can look at what was shared in class, what was done in class. You have your facilitator, Vera. Vera is an experienced professional, over 6 years experience working with Deloitte, Big Four trained, absolute fantastic professional. And then you get to see everything that was done. And if you miss the class, there's a recording to what happened. So if I go to the class recording, for example, you'd see everything that was done in that class on that particular day. All right. So you see all the questions that was asked, all the questions that were asked, I beg your pardon, and every single thing that was done on that day. And you don't miss out on anything eventually. And this is how you learn. This is you working with a professional. You're going to solve a case study together. You can ask questions and you learn the way it is done in the real world. And that's the blended learning approach. And this is the best way for you to learn to become a professional, not just the self-paced, but the self-paced plus the instructor-led classes. Very important. If you've been doing only self-paced before, you're doing yourself a disservice. Now, once you've learned the technical skills, the next step is what? Employability. And I dare say that employability is even more important because the best person does not get the job, but the most compelling and the most convincing gets the job. But how do you become convincing in the first place? You must have the right CV. So what we do for you is we take your CV, if you have one, and we revamp it for you to the industry standard. So your CV must be keyword optimized. Your CV must be ATS compliant. So a human being doesn't go through your CV because hundreds and thousands of people apply. But there's something called ATS, the applicant tracking system. That will take all the keywords from the job requirements, take the keywords from your CV, and do a match and see how much you match that particular job. So if you match by, say, 70%, you're not likely going to get called for an interview. So how do you take your CV from 70% to 95%, which is usually our target, 85 to 95% before you put in your application? All right. So we help you with that. We work on your CV. All you have to do is in your classroom, for example, you'd see the part that says upload your CV. You upload your CV, we work on the CV, and we send it back to you. And we show you how to tailor your CVs to job requirements, because every single job you apply to, you must tailor your CV. You cannot take one industry relevant CV and apply to 100 jobs. You're not going to get results. Every job you apply to, you apply with a tailored CV. So we show you how to do that. We tailor your CV for you. You have the industry standard, and then your LinkedIn. We optimize your LinkedIn profile, show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. And of course, you also have navigating the job market. So now you know how to tailor your CV. We've done the first one for you. You know how to do it going forward. We show you how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. You have a LinkedIn profile that the moment you optimize it, you start to get messages from companies that are looking for that particular role to hire for. Then navigating the job market. This is the best part. And this is where you know where to apply, you know how to apply to jobs. And one of the ways we do this is by sending you jobs every single week. So jobs that comes with visa sponsorship, for example, and I'll show you what it looks like when we get there. Visa sponsored jobs for those in the UK, let me use them as an example. You want to get a job that comes with sponsorship, but you're only applying on CV Library, applying on Indeed. You would never get the type of opportunities that you need to get. You won't get it fast enough, or you might not even get it at all. So we subscribe, for us at Analytics, we subscribe to job boards that are paid and job boards that are tailored and targeted to only visa sponsorship. And every week, every Sundays, we scrape the jobs from those job boards and we send them to you. So we vet the jobs to be sure that these are the jobs you can get. And then we send them to you, you apply, and that's where you start to get opportunities. And of course, your interview prep. I just showed you what the interview prep looks like. And for anybody going into an interview, imagine trying to learn and prepare for that interview on your own. And imagine going for a data analyst interview and you are being prepared by me, Adeza. There's a huge difference. I've been in the industry, I've worked in that country where you currently work, most likely. And I can tell you, I can look at the job requirements and tell you categorically, these are the questions that will come up. We hold a mock interview session, and then you clearly see what you need to prepare for. And that's where your success rates starts to increase. And of course, there are so many other things. The job reference. You get a job, every organization would say, we need the details of your referee who can vouch for you. And I'll show you what this looks like. One of a recent reference that came in this week. I'll show you what that looks like. So this amazing lady, she got this offer. Her name is Ene Ojaide. Her video is going to be coming up very soon, and I'll be sure her video will be one of the testimonials you'd see in the coming weeks. And I got this job as a data scientist, okay, with a company in the UK, and they were doing their background check, and they sent this email: "Hi, please provide a reference for Ene." I completed the reference, confirmed Ene's detail, and of course, received another email yesterday that says Ene said thank you. All right. So she had seen that I had completed the reference and she was saying thank you for doing that. Every reputable organization would want you to provide reference from another reputable organization. So who can vouch for you to get that job? So we do that for you on the job support, you've gotten the job, you're on a project that is a bit difficult, you've not really done that type of thing before. I'll give you a typical example. Somebody completed our program, he got a job with Cognizant in the UK as a data analyst. And then it was on a data migration project and he didn't know what to do in terms of data migration. All right. So all we needed to do was to work with him for a full month to ensure that he knew exactly what to do and he was able to complete that project and he stayed on that job. So if you find something a bit difficult, we work with you to ensure you have a strong footing, and then you have your weekly mentorship sessions. So every single week you have a mentorship session. The most recent was on importance of building in public, LinkedIn optimization. Don't wait until you meet all the criteria. So this was me taking a mentorship session and showing exactly what you need to do
Startup.
when applying to jobs. It was a job application, mentorship and practical sessions. And this is me taking you through all the things you need to do, what you need to know, and so on and so forth. And the beauty is, if you miss out on any of these sessions, you can always come back, watch the recordings, and you know exactly what you need to do. All right. So you don't miss out on anything. And the recordings are always there in your classroom. The slides are there for you as well. And, the seats and the star approach. The seats approach helped somebody land a job. I would expatiate on that when we get there. But this is absolutely critical. We have interview simulation sessions, navigating the job market, and so on. And of course, Upwork optimization. Okay. Now, if you look at all the things I've shared so far, the way you learn has been different from all the things I've said, because every single person, 100% of the people I've interacted with, they usually only focus on one of these, either 100% self-paced or 100% live instructor-led class. They usually don't have the combination, and 100% don't have the employability skills. So they struggle to land a job. And today, that's what we're going to be demystifying. So we provide you with all of these. Apart from the way you learn in a self-paced environment and also your live classes, you also get a CV review from us. You get a LinkedIn optimization, navigating the job markets. Where are the jobs? How do I apply? And so on. And we provide you with the jobs that your counterparts cannot apply to because they would not subscribe to those job boards. We subscribe and provide them to you. So these are the different factors, major factors that play a role in you landing that job. And that's the reason why we've been so successful in helping thousands of people like myself to land jobs across different job roles and across different regions. This is how you must build your skills. All right. I'm going to talk about experience, but before we get to the experience part of things, how do I gain experience? What do I need to do? I'll show you how to do that. But in the meantime, we're going to look at the different remote job boards, just a few of them. But what I want to show you here is, you want to become a business analyst. What are the employers looking for? What do they want from you? That was the first question we said, the skills and experience, right? So now that you know how to learn the skills, self-paced plus instructor-led classes, live instructor-led classes, I want to look at a particular job and I want to look at what I'm going to learn. Do they align? Am I going to get the skills I need to land that job when I complete this particular program, for example? So we're going to look at a few. I have a few favorites in terms of job boards. Built-in is one of my favorites. JobRite as well. I think JobRite would be my number one. And for anybody in the US, if you're in the US and you are not on JobRite, you really don't want to get a job. If you want to land a job, especially a remote job, JobRite is absolutely phenomenal. All right. There is one job board that is not here simply because it is a paid job board, but we're going to get into that and I'll show you how you can also use it as somebody who's registered with Analytics, or even though you have not, but you want to subscribe yourself. But we subscribe and we provide you with those jobs every week. Okay. So what are the skills I must learn to land a job? So we're going to start with the business analyst and the agile project manager. So for the business analyst, I'm going to go to UK Visa Jobs. And this is a job board that is 100% visa sponsorship. You don't see any other type of job. All the jobs you find on this platform are jobs that come with visa sponsorship. However, you have to pay to get access to the job board. We're also going to look at Workopolis for those in Canada. All right, fantastic platform, one of the oldest job boards and still one of the most dynamic job boards with the recent jobs available. We'll look at the Agile Project Manager, and we're also going to get to built in for those in the US. Okay, so let's get started one after the other. Let's go to UK visa jobs. We're going to get a bit practical in this part of our session. All right. But before I go there, I'm just going to check the charts. I can see quite a number of messages. Just asking, do you have UK, Canada training certifications? Absolutely, we do. By the time you see our testimonials, you definitely know exactly why our participants get those type of jobs in top organizations. How much with the training? I'm going to get to that eventually. Training and mentorship and so on. Hope the fees will be affordable. The most affordable you'd find anywhere with this type of value. Absolutely fantastic. What if the employer require payslip? That's a very good question. Payslip is not compulsory for you to provide. Now, before you join our internship, you're going to sign a contract. The contract is an employment contract that states you are joining our sister company, Amdari. Amdari is registered in the UK, registered in Canada. You are joining this company. You are going to work as a data analyst or as a GRC consultant, as a SOC analyst for this particular period. And it doesn't come with a particular pay. Okay, so you're a contractor, you are a consultant when you join us. You're not a trainee. Okay, so that's the process when you join. You don't need to provide any payslip to anybody. It makes no sense for anyone to request for your payslip as well. And if they do, they'll give you options of the different documents. Oh, provide an employment contract, provide this, provide that, provide a document that shows that you've left this job, and so on. And we provide you with that as well. Okay, now let's go to UK visa jobs. All right, so let's go to UK visa jobs very quickly, and I'll show you how this platform has helped thousands of people to land jobs in the UK, visa sponsored jobs. So, like I mentioned, it is paid, it's not free for you to have access to apply to jobs. And you'd see apply for student, graduate, and experienced hire jobs with visa sponsorship. All right. So let's start with the business analyst. Okay. So what do I need to learn? And can I actually land a job? Business analyst. Okay. So currently about 61 different jobs for the business analyst role. But we're going to look at, just a few to see what the requirements are. What do I need to learn? What am I going to learn as a business analyst? So here you have business analyst intern with McKinsey, business analyst with Shell, senior IT business analyst, AVP. I think that should be assistant or associate vice president or something with Citibank. Let's click on this and see. All right, let's see what the requirements are and if we can apply to this job. Okay, so this particular role is in Belfast in the UK. That's in somewhere in Scotland. All right. What are the responsibilities? You want to read the responsibilities, but more importantly, you want to go to the qualifications. Okay. So I want you to quit listening to people. There are funny questions people put in their heads by listening to those who have not been in the industry or listening to those who have no clue. And one of them is I need certifications to land a job. That's the biggest fallacy ever that exists. One of the biggest misconceptions that exists. I need a certification to get a job. Employers don't care about your certifications. They care about your competence. In fact, at Analytics, we have something we call it. We have a phrase, competence over credentials. Competence over credentials. Your competence comprises of your skills and experience. Do you have the skills to do the job? Have you done it before? These are the questions employers want to answer. Okay, so if you can't show them that you have experience, but you have certifications, trust me, you would fall flat in the job market. And I'll show you tons of people, a particular lady who got a job today, but in the past, she couldn't land that job because she was always focused on what? Certifications. What I want you to do is look at the qualifications. What are employers looking for? Not what my friend BC told me. Oh, I did not get the job because I am black. They're looking for somebody with Canadian work experience, blah, blah, blah. Or looking for somebody with UK work experience. Forget all about that. What are the employers looking for? All right. They want somebody with relevance experience, knowledge of financial markets, experience managing and implementing successful projects. So, as a business analyst, you are going to lead projects. You can't run away from it. All right. You're going to lead what? Project. And the reason is you would come up with process optimization strategies. So something takes, let's assume you work for a company that has a manual process. Customers have to walk into the store or walk into the company and they fill out a manual attendance or a manual form, a registration form, but you want to digitalize the process. You're going to build a software, okay? Or you're going to build an application to take that manual process that takes maybe 1 hour or 30 minutes. I want to reduce it to just 2 minutes. As a business analyst, when you come up with that strategy to optimize the process, you would have to be the one to manage that project, or it's either you're the project manager or you'd be the project owner supervising the project to ensure that that project is delivered to meet the requirements you have gathered and to also meet the requirements of the users as well. Okay. And that's why if we go back and we go to the business analysis curriculum, the key learning areas, as a business analyst with analytics, what do I learn? One of the key skills you would learn is what? Project initiation planning, agile and scrum for projects. You can't run away from it because project management is key. So when you look at this job, you'd see that they want somebody who can lead projects. They want somebody who can demonstrate excellent analytical skills, communication skills, problem solver. So whenever you see analytical skills, they want somebody who can use tools like Excel, Power BI, SQL. They might list or they might not list it. However, analytical skills simply means you can take data, you can analyze the data, extract insights from that data. So if you go back to the curriculum as a business analyst, what else? What am I going to learn that would give me analytical skills as a business analyst? Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. You're going to learn how to use Excel to analyze data, extract insights, use SQL to interact with databases, to extract data from the database, and use Power BI to build your data visualizations and your dashboards and so on and so forth. So you can see from the job requirements what the employers want and what I'll be learning align. And if I learn these skills, I can apply to this job. Most people think employers want something unbelievable. You have to be the most intelligent. You have to be have something that is crazy to land a job. But that's not the fact. So what else do they need? Problem solver, experience in data analysis. I explained that already. SQL, SQL knowledge is a must. And of course, you're going to learn SQL. The business analyst of 2025 must have data related skills. Gone are the days where the business analyst does not need Excel, SQL, or Power BI. You only need to know your core BA skills, project initiation, requirements gathering, elicitation. Now you must have data skills. And you can see that right here. SQL is a must. Ability to work independently, ability to operate with limited supervision, Microsoft Office skills, primarily Excel. You see Excel coming up again. Knowledge of various stages of software development life cycle. If you come right here, you're also going to learn what? Software development life cycle. And the reason is because you would manage projects that will lead to optimization, making things better. And when you make things better, you automate processes. And when you automate processes, you build applications and you build software. And when you're building a software, the software development lifecycle shows you that you must know how a software is planned, how it is designed, how it is developed, how it is tested, how it is maintained, and so on and so forth. The cycle. And that's why it's very important for you. In addition to that, you'd learn requirement fundamentals, elicitation, stakeholder analysis and engagement, and AI for business analysis using Chat GPT. These are the tools and technologies you would need to learn. For your process mapping, you would learn how to use Lucidchart and Draw.io to map out processes. How does this process start? And what are the different tasks and responsibilities in between? And how does the process end? You're going to learn how to map that out using Lucidchart, Draw.io. Your project management, tracking project deliverables using Jira, collaborating on projects using Confluence, tracking your team members' activities and deliverables using Trello, ensuring that projects are delivered on time and follows the agile methodology using Azure DevOps, and of course, ChatGPT for business analysis. These are the skills that would give you that first part, the technical skills that you need to land this job as a business analyst with Citibank that comes with visa sponsorship. And you can check every other platform you want to check. And all you need to do is look at the requirements. What do they want from you? Did you see anywhere they said certifications? No. And that's where you start to see that, oh, perhaps people have been giving me the wrong information, or I've always thought I cannot land a job except I have all the certifications in the world. But competence is what employers are looking for in 2025. All right. So we can check other platforms. I'm going to go to other platforms and we'll look at that. Because of time, I'm going to dive immediately into the next career path. So we've seen the business analysts. So when you've learned all these skills, how do you learn? What's your class going to look like? Your live classes are on Saturdays. So if you're in the US, you're in the UK, there's a class for your time zone. So if you're in the UK, for example, your classes are 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in Nigeria, you're in West Africa, you are in Ghana, your class is from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time, UK time. All right. For those in the US, for those in Canada, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time. So 10 a.m. Mountain time is simply 6 p.m. UK time. So if I can't meet the class in the morning, I'm in the UK, for example, I can't meet the class at 11 a.m. I can join the class if I'm available in the evening, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. I can join the class. So you have flexible, time for the classes depending on your availability. And every other day, Sundays, Mondays, Tuesdays, you are on the LMS, the learning management system that I shared with you earlier. This particular one. So you're here, you are watching your videos, working on case studies and practicing. And what's the duration of the program? 6 months learning in class and 2 months internship. So you learn all the tools, learn all the techniques, work on projects, solve problems together, and then you join the internship for 2 months where you work together and collaborate with other industry professionals just like you. The business analysts will collaborate with the project managers, collaborate with the scrum masters, collaborate with a software developer, and you work together to solve a real problem. All right. We're going to move to the agile project manager. And of course, as a business analyst, the salary is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. If you're in the UK, about £52,000. In Canada, over 74,000 Canadian dollars per annum. And in the US, about 85,000 US dollars on the average. Okay. The project manager, we're going to look at another job role. But this time around, let's use a platform that is also phenomenal. I love using this platform for jobs. And a lot of people who have landed jobs get their jobs using this platform, especially for remote jobs. And this is called Built In. Built In. Okay, so you can search for Built In. You'd see Built In right there, builtin.com. I'm going to maximize so you can see my screen. Built In. Okay, so here we want to look for a project manager role or an IT project manager, an agile project manager, not your conventional project manager. The conventional project manager focuses on the waterfall methodology. No focus or expertise in one specific methodology. But the agile project manager, on the other hand, focuses on what? The agile methodology, the Scrum framework, the SAFe, the Lean framework, the Kanban framework as well. Okay, so here I'm going to type IT project manager. Okay, IT project manager. You'd see information technology project manager and so on. You can use that. You can type project manager, just conventional project manager, and you see different roles and you can start to filter. But let's use information technology. I'm going to change the location. It's showing Calgary. I'll change this to United States. All right. And here I'm going to change this to fully remote and hybrid. I don't want to, filter out my chances of using only fully remote, because today I'll tell you for free that organizations are starting to bring back employees into the office. So if you're looking for fully remote roles, there are fewer roles that are fully remote today than you had 2-3 years ago. Okay, so you always want to add hybrid to the mix. So I'm going to select that, click on apply, and click on see jobs. Okay, and as I do this, I also want to look at jobs that are of a particular level. So when you complete your 6 months learning with us and your 2 months internship, you you can apply to jobs from 0 to 2 years or mid-level experience, 0 to 2, 2 to 5 years experience. All right. So all you need to do, come to filter and look for where you have junior and mid-level. Okay, junior and mid-level, and click on apply. All right. So this is just to filter it a bit more so they are not seeing the very senior roles and all of that. You want to filter to a particular level and go ahead and apply. So you'd look at the project management roles. This one says IT project manager. This is with the Home Depot. Is in Georgia. Was posted 11 days ago. 65 to 180,000 dollars per annum. Probably based on your experience, you can inch towards the 180K. But let's click on this and let's even see what this looks like in terms of the job itself. Okay, so let's see the key requirements, the key skills. What do I need to know how to do? I need to establishes and executes effective communication with project stakeholders, partners with stakeholders, lead the project scope. And these are all the things I'm going to do as a project manager. All right. You'd interact, communicate with stakeholders, understanding the foundations, project management skills and communication, and so on, leadership and real world application of the project management, and so on and so forth. All right. Then you start to look at what is required to actually do this job. Okay, experience in Agile. I need to know Agile, the Agile project delivery methodology, and so on. So I come to this, I look at the requirements. Again, I want to check, do I need a particular certification? Direct manager, yes, I'm going to report to the manager of delivery. I'll have a few travel, 10% of the time. Um, Minimum qualifications must be 18, must be legally permitted to work in the US. Preferred qualifications, Microsoft's Office, demonstrate the ability to collaborate, excellent written and verbal communication, experience in planning and executing projects, preferred education, no additional education, minimum years of experience, 2. What else? Certifications, none. All right. So I start to look at this and I start to see opportunities for me to land a job as a project manager. All right. And there's so many other roles with Capital One, um, project manager, IT project manager with Pinterest, and so on and so forth. And all you need to do, look at the requirements. What am I going to learn, and how can I apply this to the job I'm trying to get? Foundations of Scrum and Agile methodology are going to learn that. Understanding of the Scrum framework, end-to-end use of Jira and Confluence for projects, tracking project deliverables, and collaborating on projects. advanced Scrum and Agile practices, the Nexus Scaled Scrum. You'd learn the Kanban boards for workflow management. You'd learn the different metrics for Agile reporting, burn up, burn down charts, and all of that. And we prepare you for the Professional Scrum Master certification. All right. So when it comes to the class, similar structure. If you're in the UK, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you're in the US, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right. If you're in the East Coast, Eastern time zone in the US, that would be 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern time in the US. So, of course, for those in the UK, if you're not available in the morning, you can join the guys in the US and Canada, 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. So you have that flexibility. All right. 8 months learning, 6 months learning in class, and 2 months internship. Every single thing you need to learn. This is not a 2 weeks project management program or a 1 month project management program. You're going to learn all the different techniques, all the different the foundations and everything you need to land the job in 6 months, and then you work on real world projects during your internship. And that's what gets you to become a project manager. Quickly, I'm going to go through data engineering, data science, and the data analyst role. Now, for the data analyst and the data scientist to do their jobs, the data engineer must exist. The data engineer is the person that provides the data. They make sure that data is gotten from wherever it is generated by creating ETL pipelines, and then they build a warehouse, a central location, and they store that data in that location, that data warehouse. The data scientist can then go into that data warehouse. The data analyst can go into that data warehouse to extract the data and work with the data. Okay. And that's why the data engineer is very important. And the reason why I arranged it this way, the data engineer provides, the data scientist can get the data analyst can then get the data as well. So let's look at the data engineering role. Let's go to the UK visa jobs as well very quickly. And again, like I mentioned, this is a platform where you have visa sponsored jobs. We send you all these jobs every week, so you apply to them. You don't need to bother yourself subscribing because we've subscribed, we vet the jobs, send you the links, and you apply. And I'll show you what the platform looks like and how you can apply to these jobs. But let's go to data engineer. I joined the data engineering program. I want to apply to jobs. Here you have about 58 roles that come with visa sponsorship. Okay, now let's see what you learn as a data engineer and the requirements. All these companies, Accenture, Bloomberg, McKinsey, Accenture, Jane Street. Let's see what they need. What do they want from a data engineer? Like I said, it's important you look at things from the employer's perspective, not what you think is correct. Okay. Is there any software coding skills for data engineer? Absolutely. 101%. You can't be a data engineer without understanding how to code using Python. But all of that you would learn in class. You don't need to come with any experience. You'd learn all the tools, all the technologies. You'd learn Python as a tool for building your ETL pipelines. That's the programming language you would learn as a data engineer. Okay. You can't do data engineering without Python. All right. So for you to get my slides, make sure you fill the attendance form. Don't forget, fill the attendance form so you have access to every single thing I'll be saying today, all the links I'll be sharing, and so on and so forth. Okay. So let's look at the first role, data engineering. Click on that. This is for Accenture. Let's see what Accenture wants from their data engineer. Okay. So this is a data engineering role with Accenture. Um, we can read what the role is all about. Okay. What's in our team, you would learn all the things you would learn. We're not really interested about that. We're interested about the requirements to get the job. So they said you'd help with data profiling, ingestion, and all of that, help to develop and enhance your knowledge. Okay, these are basic stuff that you will have to bring to the table anyways. But let's go to the qualifications. All right. What are the core skills the core skills they want you to bring to bear. Okay, so we can look at the core skills. We can look at what you do as a data engineer with Accenture. But let's start with the core skills. They want you to have Palantir, which is simply a data orchestration tool. So there are different data orchestration tools. One of them is Palantir. The other one you would learn is also Airflow. Okay, you would learn Airflow, and I'll show you that Python, PySpark, AWS, or GCP. Okay, these are the core skills they want you to bring. Palantir, Python, just like the person I told the other time, you can't be a data engineer without learning how to code. Now let's go to the data engineering curriculum and let's see what you would learn as a data engineer with Analytics. Of course, you start with introduction to data engineering. They want somebody with Python. You're going to learn Python programming. They want somebody that can carry out orchestration, data orchestration and automation using what? Airflow. You're going to learn Airflow for your data pipeline automation and orchestration. You'd learn what else did they have there? They had, let's go back. Let's go back to that job post and let's see what else they want you to have. PySpark as well. You're going to learn PySpark. Okay, PySpark is for your scheduling. PySpark is for your orchestration and scheduling. You use Airflow for your automation. So you're going to learn PySpark. They want you to also learn what? AWS or GCP. AWS is for your cloud engineering, Amazon Web Services. GCP is another cloud engineering technology, Google Cloud Platform. You're going to learn two cloud technologies, GCP and Microsoft Azure. Google Cloud Platform, and Microsoft Azure. So if you look at the core in terms of the skills you'll be learning, you learn Linux for your bash scripting. You would learn how to build ETL pipelines, scraping data from databases, APIs, web from the web. And of course, SQL is always that common denominator across all data roles. You can be a data engineer, a data scientist, a data analyst, even a business analyst without the understanding of SQL. You saw that job I showed you, the business analyst role with Citibank. They clearly stated that SQL is important. For the data engineer, this is the technology you would use for your data infrastructure, your data warehousing and your databases. Okay, you're going to use this to build your data warehouses, your databases, the tables in that database, the database, schema, and so on and so forth. You're also going to learn Apache Spark for your pipeline scheduling, data orchestration. You'd learn Airflow for your data pipeline automation, version control with GitHub as well. Okay, and of course, you'd also learn how to use AI as a data engineer using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot. Okay, so that is looking at one particular job role. All right, we can look at other job roles. There are quite a number of them. Data engineer with Accenture, but let's not check Accenture. Let's go to Jane Street and let's look at the data engineering role with Jane Street and let's see what they have, if it's any different from all the things we've seen so far. Okay, so what do they want? Top-notch programming skills in any language. Python. They're going to learn Python. We've seen that. Experience with SQL, generating data visualizations, meticulous approach to data quality validation, clear and concise communication skills, fluency in English. So this is very clear what is required. And you can check so many other roles. Let's go to one in Canada, Workopolis. Workopolis is a fantastic platform, like I mentioned earlier. But let's check for a data engineering role very quickly. Okay, so I'll come in here, I'll type data engineer. Okay, remote. So rather than entering any specific province, so if you're in Canada, you want to get a remote job, you want to land a job in these areas, focus on Workopolis. You'll get opportunities here a lot faster. Search. And for those in the US, I'm showing you a platform that would get you those opportunities in weeks. okay, if possible, in less than a month, as long as you have the required skills, required experience. These are the platforms that are the best for you to use. All right. So, data engineer, AI trainer, software engineer, data quality engineer. Let's look at this. Let's see what they want from you as a data quality engineer with case IQ. Okay. Let's look at who they are looking for. All right. You must be a graduate, 3+ years experience, um, proficiency in diagnosing data quality tools in SQL, okay, SQL-like data warehouses, proficiency solving data problems using Python as a primary language, preferred experience working with Airflow or similar Python orchestration tool. You see, you saw Airflow. I showed you that earlier. Apache Airflow. This is Airflow right here. You're going to learn how to use Airflow as a data engineer. You would learn GitHub, okay, for your version control. You're going to learn GitHub right here. All right. You would learn what else? Strong interpersonal skills, well organized, strong ability, and so on. Okay. So these are opportunities for the data engineer. All right. So the structure is pretty much the same. And as a data engineer, you earn significantly higher, fantastic salary. On the average in the UK, about £65,000. In Canada, six figures, 102. In the US, six figures as well, about $134,000 as a data engineer. Your skills are highly sought after. And the beauty about this is a lot of people think, oh, because I'm going to learn how to code, I'm going to learn Python, it means it is difficult. Data engineering is one of the sweetest career paths, for the lack of a better word, that you want to get into. A lot of people don't want to get in there because they are scared and they are afraid, but you don't need any experience. You learn Python starting with data structures, the basics of Python, like you learning a language, learning to speak the English language, and you start from A, B, C to Z. All right. That's how you're going to start learning. And then you build your way up, 6 months in class, 2 months internship. Okay. For the data scientist, again, we're going to look at UK visa jobs and would also look at if I'm in Europe, how do I get a job in Europe? All right. And as a data scientist, the data engineer has made the data available. Now it's time for me to apply to job, for me to use that data to solve problems. Okay. But I want to apply to jobs as a data scientist. Again, I come to UK visa jobs. Let's see some visa sponsored jobs that are data science related. About 34 of them. Citibank is also hiring for a data scientist. THG, Barclays. Let's look at Barclays, fraud analytics. Okay. So, data scientist, fraud analytics. And this role reminds me of somebody who got a job as a fraud analyst with after completing his training. I think I'll show you that guy when we are done looking at this. So, this is Barclays Bank trying to hire for a fraud analyst, and they're looking at different locations: Glasgow, Northampton, and so on. Okay. So proficiency in SAS, Python, or similar programming languages. So for the person who asked the question, can I get a job as a data engineer without Python? The answer is no. Strong knowledge of fraud detection programs, hands-on experience working with large, complex data sets. As a data scientist, you must learn Python. Okay. So if you come to data science, what? Python is one of your major technologies that you would use to build your machine learning models, your exploratory data analysis, and so on and so forth. All right. What else do they need? Background in statistics or mathematics. As a data scientist, you must also do what? Statistics. That's where you start from. And a lot of people make the mistake of learning data science by starting with Python. You don't start with Python. It's like you building a house and you're starting from the roof. When building a house, you build a foundation. Statistics is the foundation of data science. So you start with that. Okay, so you're going to learn statistics, and those are pretty much the different, tools and technologies they've highlighted. Okay, so two different locations, either in Glasgow or Northampton, one of the two locations, you get to work in one of them. Okay. So these are the things you'll be doing using those tools and technologies that you would learn. Now, looking at this particular role, it's easy to think, oh, can I get a job as a fraud analyst? This sounds very complex. But guess what? There's this gentleman, I'll try to remember his name. I think his name is Tosin. Tosin got a job. Tosin had no background. In fact, he went to the UK for his master's in public health. Let me look for Tosin. Let me get Tosin and show you. But before I show you Tosin, I'm going to walk you through what you'd learn as a data scientist. So once you complete your statistics, you're going to learn Excel for predictive analytics. You'd learn Tableau for your data analytics, data visualization. You'd also learn SQL. Like I mentioned, you can't work in data analytics, data science, data engineering without SQL. That's one of the underlying technologies that you need to know how to use in any data related roles. Python for your exploratory data analysis, machine learning, computer vision, GitHub for your version control, AI for data science using ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot, and of course, Microsoft's Fabric. Now, let's check the gentleman, Oluwatosin. I think that's his name. So, what I'm going to do, I'll go to YouTube and I'm simply just going to search for Oluwatosin fraud analyst, Analytics. Okay, I hope it comes up. 10 Analytics. Oluwatosin had a background. Yeah, that's him right there. I think I'll also try to get his LinkedIn and show you guys as well. Let's play his testimonial. Oluwatosin joined our program. He had a background in public health, no knowledge in tech, no knowledge with anything, data, and so on. But he joined our program and he landed his first job as a fraud analyst. But let's listen to Tosin himself and let's hear how he was able to do this.
Hello.
Let me be sure you can all hear Tosin before I continue. Yes, I think you should be able to hear Tosin. So sit back, relax, listen to Tosin, and hear his story.
My name is Oluwatosin Oguleye. With the August DA cohort with Analytics. I just got a job as a fraud analyst. So my role as a fraud analyst is to investigate and prevent fraud on credit cards. I got this job after I joined Analytics. The mentorship session, the CV review sessions, these sessions were very, very helpful in me getting this role. And I had an interview prep as well. All these were highly instrumental in me getting the job. And I'm really grateful for Analytics. Thank you.
The beauty about Tosin's story, I'm going to try to look for him on LinkedIn. Just give me 1 second. Let's try to look for Oluwa Tosin, fraud analyst. Okay. Yeah, I think that's him. Oluwa Tosin Ogunleye. Now, like I said, Tosin is a public health professional, no knowledge, no experience. He came to us at Analytics and he joined. You see how Tosin represented himself on LinkedIn, which I'm going to talk about as well. You must position yourself to show that you are on the job. You've done the job before, you have experience. And you can see Tosin, data analyst with Analytics internship. Okay. Now, he got this job as a fraud analyst. That was the one he created the video. You saw the video, TSYS. He got a job as a fraud analyst, helping this organization prevent credit card fraud, analyzing fraudulent transactions with this particular organization. He had no any other experience. He was just a volunteer with the British Heart Foundation, no any other experience before he landed his job as a fraud analyst after completing our data analytics program. Zero knowledge, zero background. I'm getting somewhere with this. Now, within the space of when he got this job in October 2023 and today, Tosin is a senior fraud detection investigator with BNP Paribas. Now, from a fraud analyst, a public health professional, no knowledge, no experience, today he's a senior fraud detection investigator. Anybody who sees the career path I showed earlier, data scientist, fraud analytics, it looks very complex. Oh, can I get this job? Is it possible to do it? Somebody in public health got the job. And I'll show you so many other stories of people who have gotten these type of jobs with zero knowledge and zero background. But this is Tosin's story, and Tosin is doing phenomenally well today. And as a fraud prevention, fraud investigator, a senior fraud detection investigator with BNP Paribas. So he moved from this organization and he's gotten the job. What helped him? All the things I've mentioned so far. He talked about the CV review, he talked about the mentorship sessions, and he also talked about the interview preparation sessions. That was what helped Tosin. So, as a data scientist, don't learn upside down, starting with Python. You learn by building the foundation, statistics, Excel for predictive analytics, Tableau for data analytics, SQL before you move to Python. You use Python for your exploratory data analysis, machine learning, computer vision, and so on and so forth. And of course, the class is pretty much similar to the others, like in terms of structure, like I mentioned earlier. 6 months learning, 2 months internship. And for the data analyst role, here I'm going to take you to JobRite for those in the US. Now, JobRite is one of the most fantastic platforms you would ever get to use, especially for those in the US. So it's jobright.ai. Okay, jobright.ai. And I'll explain the way JobRite works. JobRite would show you the jobs that matches your CV. So think about LinkedIn. LinkedIn helps companies. If a company wants to hire, they go to LinkedIn, they can enter different criteria. I want the person to be, the current job should be data analyst. The person should have 5 years work experience. The person should have skills in this, that, and that. The person should have worked in this organization or should have graduated from this university. They can specify the criteria they want to look for when searching for candidates. But JobRite is like LinkedIn for the candidates. So you can filter using different criteria to show the type of jobs you want to see. If you want to apply to a job and you don't want a particular skill to be listed, you can exclude those type of skills and it shows you the jobs that matches your exact skill. So what I did and what JobRite would require for you to do is upload a CV. So I uploaded a CV of one of our students who have completed our programs, who is in one of our programs, and you would see the jobs and the match. Okay, so immediately you see the match. So when you see a 41% match, it simply shows you that you don't match that job. And if you apply to the job, you're not going to get called for any interviews. So you want to first of all go to recommended at the top right and do top matched. Change it to top matched. And this would show you the jobs that matches your CV the highest. Okay. And you can start applying from there. Now, JobRite is only tailored for those in the US for now. They really don't have integration for those in the UK, for those in Canada, other regions in Europe, and so on. Okay. You can also change your filter to different other filters. If you click on filter, you can add the type of job you're looking for. Is it a full-time job, internship? What's the work model, remote, hybrid, experience level, the date posted? Do you want it to come with H1B sponsorship? You can select all of these. Do you want a particular type of skill? Do you want to exclude particular type of skills and so on and so forth? What type of companies do you want to search for? Okay, so you can do all of these in the filter and it will show you the specific type of job that you want to apply to, and you can start to check. As a data analyst, this was posted a week ago, 1 week ago, 5 days ago. You can start to look at the requirements. All right. So you match this by 85%. What this means is I need to go back and tailor my CV to up it from 85 to 95% before I go ahead and apply. Okay, which of course will show you how to do that eventually. But when you go to the responsibilities and you go to the required skills for you to land this job, 1 to 3 years experience in a role involving information organization, experience writing SQL. We can see SQL again one more time. Strong command of Excel or Google Sheets, pivot tables, VLOOKUP, and all of that. Passion for advertising, strong communication and collaboration. And that's pretty much, you know, what they want you to have. Now, let's go to what you would learn as a data analyst. You're going to start with problem solving, then you learn Excel, SQL, Power BI, Tableau, data storytelling, Chat GPT, Microsoft Fabric. More skills than what the role even requires. And guess what? The salary is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, the salary is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, the salary here, I don't think they indicated the salary anywhere here, but I think I'll show you the other ones. I'm sure the salary was also listed. Okay, and we can see the type of jobs. We go to the second one and let's see if they have the salary listed. This is 84%. Again, you need to tailor your CV. The qualification, what else do they need? They need SQL, they need Power BI, Tableau, if you have Tableau, and so on, SQL, Microsoft Excel. And these are the skills you would learn. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal skills, and so on. Okay. And you get to do jobs that you have the skills to apply and you can easily land them when you get invite for interviews. Somebody prepares you for your interview and you can go ahead and land that job. 2 years experience, dashboard visualization, report tools, BI tools like Tableau, Power BI, which are going to learn proficiency in SQL. So you start to see that these are jobs I can actually get. 6 months of learning, 2 months of internship. And I'm going to take you to the last set of jobs we'll be looking at today: the cybersecurity, the financial analyst, and the HR analyst. And the last thing I'll show you is how you gain experience. And then we call it a day. How do you gain experience? As a cybersecurity professional, as a data analyst within the space of 8 months, how do I gain experience and build my experience? How did Oluwatosin, who got that job as a fraud analyst, how did he show them, for somebody who is in public health, how was he able to show that he had experience working on fraudulent transactions? He had experience using data to solve problems that could help that company. How did he build the experience? I'll show you how to get that. Very straightforward, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. Okay. So for the cybersecurity role, of course, again, you can go to UK Visa Jobs. There are sponsored jobs available for the cybersecurity role. Or you can simply, if you go to UK Visa Jobs, for example, numerous jobs available. Just type in cybersecurity. All right, cybersecurity. You have about 13 roles, just like Abimbola, who wants to work as a GRC consultant, governance, risk, and compliance, GRC. So if I click on that, Jane Street is currently hiring for a GRC professional. What would the GRC professional do? Let's look at the requirements about you. What do they want you to have? They want you to have experience, understanding of industry standards and regulatory requirements. They want you to have familiarity with the auditing process, internal audits, external audits. They want you to be able to work well in a team, have a positive collaborative attitude, motivated self-starter, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now, as a cybersecurity professional, I'm going to move very fast there. As a GRC professional, what do you do? Your role is to ensure that you help the organization establish cybersecurity policies and procedures that align with industry requirements. That's your job. Your job is to also ensure that you maintain compliance records for that company. The compliance activities, the risk management efforts, you maintain those compliance records. Your role is to ensure that you implement industry frameworks. And I'll give you a typical example. When any new employee joins a company, the employee will be assigned, let's say a data analyst starts work with Jane Street, for example. There must be somebody who owns the data warehouse. There must be somebody who that data analyst would request for access to that data warehouse. And there must be a process to which access is granted to any new employee in an organization to that data warehouse. And that framework that establishes who is the owner, who is responsible for granting access, accepting approval, approving access to the data warehouse, and so on, is called the governance framework. And that governance framework is built by the GRC professional. Okay, so the data warehouse contains sensitive data. So nobody should have access anyhow to such a sensitive infrastructure within the organization. So as a GRC professional, you ensure that the systems, the network is protected, the data is protected in the organization by building those frameworks to ensure that the right access, the right person is granting the access, and so on and so forth. All right. And of course, as a cybersecurity analyst, you're going to learn all the different aspects of governance, compliance frameworks. You would learn exploitation techniques, incident response and threat intelligence, threat detection and response, and so on and so forth. So all the things you need, just like Abimbola, to learn that job as a GRC professional, you're going to learn that during the program. And of course, so many other cybersecurity roles. If we go back to built-in, somebody the other time said, I want to be a SOC analyst. Okay, so let's go to SOC. Let's type in SOC, SOC analyst. And what does a SOC analyst mean? A security operations center analyst. Security operations center analyst. All right. And what does a security operations center analyst do? Security operations center analysts are simply professionals who do what? They watch out for threats. They monitor systems, they monitor the network to spot suspicious activities. All right. So sometimes you live in the UK, you travel to Canada, you travel to Spain on holidays, and you're trying to use your credit card. What happens? You try to buy something and your credit card is blocked because you never bought something in that particular region, in that particular country, and it shows an anomaly. There is somebody watching and monitoring those activities, and there are triggers, there are alerts that are triggered when something that doesn't happen usually happens. And the role of the SOC analyst is to identify, investigate. If it's an attack, they stop the attack and prevent future attacks, going forward. All right. So you can check for one of the roles as a SOC analyst. What exactly do they need from you? And so on and so forth. And you'd see what the role is all about. And that's how you start to apply to get jobs like that. Okay. So we're not going to double down too much on that. As somebody who's joined our cybersecurity program, there are three major areas you specialize in: GRC, just like Abimbola mentioned, SOC, Security Operations Center Analyst, and then you have the penetration testers. Penetration tester, or they can also be called the ethical hackers. So, as an ethical hacker, your job is to simply try to break into systems, try to penetrate into systems, and identify vulnerabilities that exist within those systems, come up with solutions and strategies to ensure that an external party cannot break into that system. Okay, and that's what a penetration tester does essentially. And if you search for a penetration tester role, so many roles would come up as well. All you need to do, if we come here, for example, we check for SOC analyst, penetration tester. Let's see. Okay, so you'd see different roles: penetration testers, senior penetration tester, consultant, application security, penetration tester. So that's another fantastic career path as a cybersecurity professional. All right. So again, you'd learn all the different tools. You'd learn how to use tools like Nmap, Splunk, BRP, Burp Suite, Wireshark, VMware, Metasploit, and so on and so forth. You'd learn security awareness and reporting, compliance audits. How do you carry out a compliance audit? Exploitation techniques. How do you ensure that you can identify threats, detect the threats, and know how to respond to possible threats? Again, the program, as a cybersecurity professional, your salary is absolutely phenomenal. Six figures in Canada due to the demand for cybersecurity professionals, and in the US, over six figures as well. 8 months program, 6 months learning in class, and 6 months and 2 months internship. All right. And last but not the least, you have the HR analyst, you have the financial analyst roles. As a HR analyst and a financial analyst, you can get a job as a data analyst. And the reason why is very simple. How can I get a job as a data analyst, even though I'm a financial analyst? The reason is because as a financial analyst, I would learn all the different data tools. Because a financial analyst is simply a data analyst that can analyze and focuses on financial data. So unlike the data analyst that would work on different data, the financial analyst would focus on financial data, financial records. They help to analyze the financial health, profitability of the company. They look at areas for cost optimization. When inflation goes up, Trump introduces the new tariff. How is it going to affect our business? How would it increase or reduce inflation, increase cost to our customers, and so on? I'm going to carry out scenario analysis and sensitivity analysis. That's the role of the financial analyst. So you're going to learn your data skills: problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are the data skills. Then you move into the core financial areas: accounting fundamentals, financial analysis, financial modeling, valuation, sensitivity and scenario analysis, and AI for financial analytics using Chat GPT. So you don't need to have experience in financial analysis. You'd learn all these things in class from the scratch, and it's combining data plus finance to become a financial analyst. And there are so many roles available. If you go on LinkedIn, I'm going to use LinkedIn for example, search for the financial analyst role. If you're in the UK, you're in the US, all you have to do is search, go to jobs, and one of the roles you want to look for is FP&A. This is a fantastic role for anybody looking to land a job. In the UK, for example, you want to get visa sponsorship, FP&A, financial planning and analysis. All right. So all you have to do, make change the filter remote, hybrid, and remote, and then you can apply these filters to see just the type of jobs that you want to see. Okay, FP&A, financial analysts, and so on and so forth. Same with the HR analyst. And you can change your region. If I choose Canada right here, you can change the region and you'd see different other type of jobs pop up. Financial analyst with the bank, National Bank of Canada, and so on. Okay. One other role I always love people to apply to as a financial analyst is the commercial analyst role. There are a lot of people that have worked in the bank. You worked in the bank before back in Nigeria. Now you've moved to Canada. You're trying to land a job, but it's a bit difficult for you to land a job. You want to learn financial analytics, apply to jobs as a commercial analyst. Okay, you have another commercial mortgage analyst with EQ Bank. There was a gentleman who had experience, over a decade experience working in the bank. He tried to get a banking job in Canada, couldn't get one in Ontario. Then he joined our financial analytics program, completed the program, and got a job as a commercial analyst. So if you check this, for example, you'd see what is required to land this particular job. Okay. So what do they need from you? 3 years experience in financial services, strong knowledge of Microsoft's Word and Excel, problem solving, and so on. Okay. That's pretty much what they want from you. And those are all the things you're going to learn during the program. Again, 6 months learning, 2 months internship. Same with the HR analyst role. All right. Just do the search. We go on LinkedIn, for example. I'm going to change this back to United Kingdom. All right. And just do a search, HR analyst. And you see different career paths. The reward analysts, you'd see total reward analysts, you'd see people analysts, and so on. So if you search for reward analyst, is a part of the HR analytics career path. The HR analyst is a data analyst that focuses on what? HR data. Okay. So reward analyst, you see different jobs you can apply to, or you can simply just use HR analyst. Okay. And of course, you'd see different other job roles and you can start looking for the ones to apply to. There's a fixed term contract, HR analyst, 12 months fixed term contract. And of course, they have the license to sponsor. Same with Carter Jonas, HR management and information analyst, and so on and so forth. Reward analyst with Fraser Jones. You can apply to these jobs as a HR analyst. And when you look at what is required, all you need your data skills, problem solving, Excel, Power BI, and SQL. These are your data skills. Then you learn the core HR areas. So if you have any experience in HR, or you want to get into HR, or you don't have any experience, but you want to build a career as a HR professional, then you want to move into HR analytics. Like I mentioned, the beauty is with these skills I have here, 1 to 4, I can apply to data roles. All right. The only difference between the HR analyst and the data analyst is the data analyst would work on a broader type of data sets. They would work on customer data sets, research data sets, sales data sets, and so on. But the HR analyst would focus on people data, HR data. All right. 8 months learning, 6 months learning in class, 2 months internship. And of course, if you're in the UK, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you are in the US, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. All right. Now, we're going to go to one of the most important aspects, which is building experience. And we'll do this in 5 minutes. And I'll show you how do you build experience and show employers that you have experience. Before we get into that, for those who chose at the beginning that they want to join this particular career path or not, I want you to type into the chat again. Let's see if the results will change. Which of the 8 career paths are you interested in? Knowing the different jobs, the requirements, what you need to learn. For some of you, you didn't know that data engineering required Python, but now you know. So type into the chat. I used to doing data engineering, data analytics, data science. Okay, Winnie, BA, project management. That's a fantastic combination because they both have interrelated transferable skills. Beautiful. Stanley says data engineering. Jojo says data science, cybersecurity. Fantastic. Absolutely phenomenal. HR analyst, GRC. Jojo said, but I want GRC instead. GRC is the non-technical part of cybersecurity. So a lot of people want to move into GRC. Okay. BAPM, absolutely phenomenal. Fantastic. Now, how do you gain experience? I'm going to use a case study to explain. The first way you can gain experience is to build a portfolio. I've used so many analogies, all right? And one of the analogies I love using is imagine you want to buy a couch, all right? Imagine you want to buy a couch in your living room and you're considering 2 carpenters. The first carpenter has certificates in their shop. They have a certificate that shows that they've gone to carpentry school. The second carpenter has a showroom. You can walk into that showroom. You can see the type of couches that they've built. You can touch it. You can feel the couch, see the quality. So Carpenter A has certificates. I've gone to carpentry school. I was the best in carpentry school. Carpenter B has a showroom. I've built the type of couch you want to buy. Come into my showroom, touch the couch, feel the couch, see all the different samples. Which of these two carpenters would you give the contract to do your couch for you? Carpenter A or Carpenter B? Just type into the charts Carpenter A or Carpenter B. Daniel says B. Okay. B, 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 B. I'm sure everybody will go to B. That's the interesting thing. But most people would position themselves as Carpenter A. Oh, I have certification. Oh, I have this certification. I have that certification. When you do this, we are projecting the wrong signal to recruiters. Employers want to see that you have done that thing you say you want to do for us. Where have you done it before? Show me your showroom. All right. So your showroom is built using a portfolio. So it doesn't matter the program you join, financial analytics, HR analytics, data science, data engineering, you must have a portfolio. What does a portfolio look like? I'm going to show you that very quickly. These are different portfolios, different professionals, but I'm going to go to Victor. All right. So Victor's portfolio shows the different projects that Victor has worked on. He joined our data science program and he built this portfolio. We show you how to build a portfolio, and all the projects you work on in class, you put them into your portfolio. That's your showroom. So just like that carpenter who has a showroom of couches, you can touch the couch, feel the quality, see the samples. You'd also have a portfolio as well, and anybody can get into your portfolio and see what you've done. And I'll give a typical example. This is a project called Loan Default Prediction. I'm going to click on that. And this is a project that Victor completed, showing how to help a company identify customers that are likely going to default on their loan. Okay. This was built using Python. You can read about the introduction, the problem statements, the aim of the project, everything that was done. You can go through this. And better still, you can look at the codes that Victor wrote, the Python codes in his notebook. So you can click on the notebook, come right here. You can see the different libraries that he used: pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, and so on. You can see how Victor cleaned his data, how he checked for missing values. You can see exactly how Victor carried out his exploratory data analysis, EDA. Everything he did, from his univariate analysis to his bivariate analysis. And this is equivalent to you going into that carpenter's showroom to see what they've built. Any recruiter can come here without talking to Victor. They know exactly what Victor has done, how good he is, and they know this is the person for me to hire. Now, how did Victor build this portfolio, and how did he work on this project called Loan Default Prediction? Simple. All your classes, your live classes, are what? Project based. Okay. So I'll show you very quickly. In Victor's class, where Victor worked on this particular project, in the machine learning class, the live class, if you go to the material, the class material, your classes during the live sessions are tailored towards projects. It's project based, and the projects you work on form a part of your work experience. These projects are real life projects. The name of the companies have been changed. The name of the data have been changed as well for data privacy. But you work on these projects just like that professional who did that, solved that problem, worked on. So you're working on a real life project, essentially. So the name of the company, Loanalytics, of course, the name was changed. And this is the loan default prediction case study. Okay. The company was having very high non-performing loans and they needed to solve the problem. So you read about the problem statements, the objectives, and the rationale. the data description, you look at the data dictionary, and then you start to solve the problem. And you solve this problem in class. So let's look at the class recording and let's see what happened in class solving that problem. Okay.
Yes.
So you solve this problem in a class with a real professional. All right. And that's the same case study. Solving this case study, you'd solve it together, ask questions, and based on all the things you've solved in class, you complete this project, it becomes part of your work experience. Okay. It becomes part of your what? Your work experience. So that's how you build experience. One of the ways to build experience. Then every single class, live class you complete, you work on a project. And this is the exact same project, the fraud detection project, the loan default prediction, I beg your pardon, that Victor worked on and added to his portfolio. And recruiters see Victor's portfolio and they're like, no, anybody who can do this and write these codes is the right person for the job. And they don't need to see Victor. If you go to Victor's profile on LinkedIn, I go to Victor's profile. Victor, let's click on Victor. Victor Omoboye. Okay, if you go to Victor's, I think that's him. Yeah, if you go to Victor's profile, you'll see the link to his portfolio. These are the things you learn in your LinkedIn optimization session. So any recruiter that comes to Victor's profile, all they need to do is just click on this portfolio and it directs them to Victor's portfolio. So if I click on this, it takes me to Victor's portfolio, Victor's showroom. That's one way. The second way is through your internship. So your internship is with Tenalytics and also with Amdari. Amdari is a sister company to Tenalytics. So for those of you in the UK, for example, you can list two different companies on your CV and on your LinkedIn. Amdari operates out of London in the UK. Amdari is also registered in Canada, operates out of Alberta, Canada. Tenalytics operates out of Alberta, Canada. So you have work experience to show to recruiters that you are not just showing them that you can do the job, but you've actually done the job before with Tenalytics and Amdari. And this is how you build experience using internship. Your internship is designed for you to work in a cross-functional team. The data scientist would work together with the data analyst, with the data engineer. The data engineer would provide the data. The data analyst would carry out descriptive analytics and diagnostic analytics, while the data scientist would carry out predictive analytics. All right. And that's how you build work experience. So if you click on any of these links, I've kept the links to sample portfolios for you. All right. If you click on any of these links, it takes you to the portfolio. You can look at it, see the projects people have worked on. And that's where recruiters are confident that you can do the job because you've done it before. And when they request for a reference, we provide you with that reference. Okay. So that's how you build work experience. And of course, we talked about the mentorship session already. We talked about sending you jobs every single week, the paid platform. So if you go to any of the classrooms, for example, you'd see something called job openings. If you click on the job opening, click on this, it takes you to a spreadsheet every single week. I'm going to maximize this. So those platforms you don't have access to because they are paid platforms. All you have to do is come to this part of your classroom, and every week the jobs are posted. We vet the jobs, we pay to the platforms, we scrape the jobs, and we send them to you. And all you have to do is come here and apply. Okay. You see the jobs that come with sponsorship. Yes, 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 yes. And you can apply to jobs that come with sponsorship. And because we vetted these jobs, these are the jobs that if you apply to, you can easily land the jobs. All right. And one of the beauties of our mentorship session, I talked about a lady at the beginning of the session, and I'm going to double down on that lady right now. Her name is Gladys. Okay. And Gladys sent us this message this morning. And I said, I'm going to share that with every one of you in today's session. The power of the Tenalytics mentorship. Now, Gladys sent this message to Oyindamola. Oyindamola is the class coordinator, and Gladys is saying, "Good morning, Oyin. I just want to say that I will be greedy if I don't share this information with Analytics. I've been searching for a job in database administration for over 1 year. So over 1 year, Gladys wasn't able to land a job, right? Um, and that was the reason why I joined Analytics. I had once heard about the STAR approach of introduction, but never had I heard about the SEAT approach. Long story short, I learned this from Analytics a couple of weeks back. I implemented it in my interview, and now I have a six-figure job as a SQL support engineer with a very prestigious company, even though Analytics didn't train me as a database administrator. It is only but fair that I share my joy with them because I used the approach I learned there to secure the job. Thank you, Analytics. And this is Oyin Damola saying, "Oh my God, congratulations, Gladys. I'm so happy for you. This is amazing news. Do you mind doing a video for us?" So you'll be seeing Gladys' video. Hopefully, she creates that video and you get to hear from Gladys. Now, one of the things I mentioned earlier was the mentorship session. It is a powerful, every Thursdays, you have mentorship. Every Thursday evenings from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay, so this week would have one for those in the UK, 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. The following week we have for those in the US and in Canada, and we switch it like that so everybody gets to participate. And the beauty about that is Gladys said the seat approach, which she had no clue existed, was what was stopping her from landing a job for over a year. And that was done in one of the mentorship sessions. Let me see the week. So if you go to your classroom, for example, and you see your mentorship session, you'd see where you have the seat and the star approach. And this was the session that changed everything for Gladys. One session where we introduced how to use the seat approach during interviews. And the beauty, you don't miss anything. So even if you miss the class, if you miss this session, maybe you couldn't join, the slides, the recording is always there for you to go back and watch. All right. So this is you using your skills, experience, achievements, and your traits to answer tell me about yourself. That simple question. And that was what helped Gladys to land the job. And there's so many other super success stories. You have Rita, who secured her visa sponsorship, and Rita got the visa sponsorship using a strategy called Stoop to Conquer. We teach that strategy whereby you apply to jobs that have not been listed as jobs that come with sponsorship. But you apply, you give them 110%, and eventually you request for that sponsorship. So Rita did that. I spoke to my manager about the visa. There was a pushback from HR back and forth until they gave me my COS. So she was given a certificate of sponsorship. She applied using the priority service, and of course, she got her decision. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to Analytics because the program taught me SQL, which I used to get this fixed term contract. And this is Mary. Mary had no experience. Okay. Mary had no experience in business analysis, but she landed a job as a business data analyst in the month of March last month. She came into our business analysis program in November and she got her sponsorship in March. And this is the email she shared with us. Your application under the skilled worker routes of the immigration rules have been successful, and she's going to be on the skilled worker visa until the 13th of March 2030, 5 years, and then she gets her ILR, indefinite leave to remain, and so many other stories. This is Amaka. Amaka is in Canada. Amaka joined our program, HR Analytics, and one of the jobs we posted, she applied. She got interviews. We prepared her for her interview and she landed the job. So Amaka couldn't get a job for over 6 months in Canada. She had been applying, couldn't land a job, joined our HR analytics program in July last year. She completed her program by December, and she secured a job in January this year as a HR data analyst with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan. All right. And this is Amaka sending a message. And I'm going to play Amaka's video so you get to hear from Amaka yourself. Again, the links to all of these, I'll share this with you, but make sure you fill the attendance form. So Amaka sent a message to her class coordinator, Priscilla. Hello, Priscilla. Happy New Year. I'm overwhelmed, but with good news. I have 3 job interviews. Most importantly, I have an interview with Sask Energy for HR data analysts. One of the jobs you posted. I really need help preparing for this interview. We prepared her, and this was another day she sent this message. I got the job. All right. So, just anybody who gets the job, we tell them create a video, share your journey. A lot of people would, and let's listen to Amaka because Amaka did. She created this video, and I want you to listen to Amaka. How was she able to do it? Okay. And I'm also going to show you Amaka's LinkedIn profile because it shows you that all the things I've been saying, land on the job is strategic. That's Amaka Naji. Amaka Naji. Yeah, so that's Amaka right there. So if you look at Amaka's experience, she got this job in January, like I said, with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan, Canada. Before that, HR analyst with Analytics. Again, this is how you represent yourself to recruiters that you are on the job. You know how to do the job because you've done the job before, and that's how you secure this. So Amaka was out of work for a very long time. Since February, she got out of work since February, couldn't land an interview. She joined us in July 2024, and by January 2025, she had landed this job with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan, Canada. But let's listen to Amaka and let's hear how she was able to do it. And then what does it take?
Hello,
What does it take to get into the program? I'll share that with you.
everyone. My name is Amaka Naji.
Sorry about that. What does it take to get into the program? I'll share that with you and then we'll call it a day. But let's listen to Amaka very quickly.
Hello, everyone. My name is Amaka Naji, and I would like to share with you how Analytics gave me the confidence to apply for a high-paying job. So, last year, 2024, I came across Analytics advert on Instagram. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, things we see on Instagram. But I just said, okay, I had always wanted to upskill, like learn something else as an HR professional, and the analytical aspect has been on my mind. So like, okay, before I pay, let me join the WhatsApp group and hear what they have to say. So I joined the WhatsApp group and I was like, okay, this is something I want to do. This is something I want to put my money in, and I paid for the class. Just the first class alone, I like, thank God I did this. And as the class progressed, I was really happy. I removed all doubts. So last year, December, I saw a job posting, and if I had seen that job posting before I started this class, I don't think I would have had the courage or the confidence to apply for the role, but I did because of all what I've learned from Analytics. So I applied for the role. Some weeks later, I was called for an interview. I reached out to my facilitator. I told her I have an interview, like, please, what do I need to do? And she was like, don't worry, we got you. And they really did, because they prepared me for an interview. They went out of their way. Like, I was sent a 12-page document on what to do. We had a Zoom meeting. It was they took this interview like a major project. They really went out of their way, prepared with me, tutored me and all of that, and I went for the interview and I got the job. So I want to tell you that if you're still skeptical, if you're still thinking you might not gain anything, trust me, you have a lot to gain. And take it as a gift to yourself this 2025. Like, I want to do something for my career, and I want you to pay for this class. I want you to go for this class, and you will be thankful. Your career would thank you for doing this thing. So guys, thank you.
Okay, so that's Energy. Amaka Energy, absolutely phenomenal lady. I'm currently a HR data analyst. This is Pavel. Pavel as well joined our data analytics program in the US, is currently a data analyst, joined in August, completed his program sometime around December, and he secured a job as a data analyst with the Arizona community of physicians in Tucson, Arizona. And this is Hope. Hope, just like so many people, had all the certifications possible. She had a PMP certification, she had a Scrum Master certification, but she moved to Canada and realized that, oh, my certifications were not getting me interviews or getting me any job. Then she came to us, she joined our Agile Management program in September, and she landed a job before she even completed the program in December. All right. And what did we do? All we needed to do was project her competence a bit more rather than certifications because that was not working. Okay. So show that you have the skills, show that you have the experience, build a portfolio, and know how to interview. How Hope was able to do it, she also spoke about that. You have that in my slides. Make sure you fill the attendance form if you haven't, so you have all these access to all these content. So Lua Damilare is in the UK, got a job as a sustainability data analyst. You have Oyefikayo. She has a background in finance and accounting. She joined our full stack data science program from accounting to data science. So no experience in the use of Python, no experience in statistics and all of that. But guess what? Today, Oyefikayo is a business solutions analyst in Ontario, Canada, after completing the full stack data science program. A month before she completed the program, she landed this job. Ikmat, Ramat, and Tony, these three fantastic ladies, what do they have in common? They all have visa sponsorship from the same organization, the NHS. Ikmat did our data analytics program, got a job as a data analyst immediately after she completed her master's program. Before she completed her master's, she landed a job. Before then, she was a full-time stay-at-home mom. We prepared her for our interviews. She secured the sponsorship. Ramat currently works as a business architect with the NHS on full visa sponsorship. She joined our business analysis program. Toyin was a pharmacist back in Nigeria, moved to the UK. Currently, she's a benefits analyst, also on visa sponsorship with the NHS after completing our data analytics program. Lois is an accountant, was an accountant, but today she's a project manager after completing our program. Ngozi works remotely from Huddersfield in the UK as a business analyst after completing our business analysis program. Adetayo got a job as a cybersecurity professional after completing our cybersecurity program. He didn't complete the program, 60 to 7% completion, and he landed the job. You can listen to all these professionals right here. I'm not going to bore you with all the videos. You can always listen to them, and I'll show you how you can even get more testimonials from professionals who started their journey. You listen to Amaka. She saw an ad on Instagram. What happened? She joined the WhatsApp group, joined a session like this, and realized that, okay, I'm going to give it a try. She started her HR analytics program last year in July, and today she works with Sask Energy in Saskatchewan, landing a job after not being able to even secure an interview over the past couple of months. So, how do I start today? How do I get started? What do I need to start? The next cohort starts on the 10th of May, 2025. The cohort in April started on the 6th of April. The next cohort starts on the 10th of May. So for those of you interested in getting your journey started, landing a job in 2025, this is the best time to start. The year is almost halfway gone. All right. The best time to start is now. The best time to get in is in the month of May 2025. And we have an amazing discount for those who want to take part and get their journey started in any of the programs you want to get into: the business analyst career path, the HR analyst, the agile project manager. Rather than paying the full amount of $900, you get a whopping 20% discount and you get to pay just $750. That's the amazing discount you have to get started. And the beauty about this is you don't have to pay all the amount in one full swoop. Yes, you get some extra discount if you make the payments once, but you can break your payments into 5 installments of $150 per month. Now, something interesting about Gladys, who joined us in March, that's the lady who the mentorship session helped her ace her interview and she landed the job. She joined us in March last month, okay, March 2025. And within a month, she's landed a job. So she doesn't need to even continue the program if she doesn't want to. But if she wants to complete, yes, she can go ahead and complete the program. And that's the beauty of the monthly installments. And what we've seen over time is a lot of people land their jobs even before they complete the program. And that's simply because what you learn in class during your internship is usually more than what is required to do the job. So, and you don't start applying after you complete the program. You apply after 2 months to 3 months of joining, because by then you'd have completed a significant amount of the tools and technologies, and then you start to apply to jobs. By that time, you would have completed your CV, your LinkedIn optimization, and you start applying to jobs. So how do you get started? The discount is not available for everyone. It's available for the first 20 people to register from today's session. And the registration also ends on Wednesday, the 30th. So at the end of the month, April the 30th, the registration for May ends and the discount also ends with it. All right. Or if we get the first 20, the 20 people to register gets the discount. So whichever comes first. If we get 20 registrations, the discount is off. Or by the 30th of April on Wednesday, the discount would be off. All right. How do I get started? Adeza, I want to be a part of this. I want to get my journey started. What do I need to do? All you need to do, click on this link. My colleagues would share that in the chat as well. And it takes you to the enrollment center. Okay. So once you click on the link, it takes you to the enrollment center, and I'll show you exactly how to register for any of the programs. Right. So when you get to the enrollment center, all you have to do, select the program you're interested in. The next cohort starts on the 10th of May. All you have to do, if I'm interested in agile project management, business analysis, all I have to do is come in here and click on register for BA. Okay. Once I click on that, it takes me to where I can start, making payments. Okay. So 19 seats are left. So while I was speaking, one person has made payment. So we have just 19 slots left, for example, for the business analysis. Now, if I want to make payment, I can make payments in any currency, pounds, Canadian dollars, euros, depending on your location. So if I want to make payments in US dollars, for example, I can secure my discount of $750 by making my 5 installment payments if I want to break it into 5. But if I make a one-time payment, I get a further $50 discount. So instead of paying $750, I get to pay $700. Okay. But if I'm making my payments in 5 installments, I make $150 every month until I complete my payment in 5 months. All I have to do is click on this and click on secure your seat. All right. So I want to make payments in pounds, naira. All I have to do, come to the top right, select your currency. If you want to pay in naira, you click on naira, you'd see the amount. You can break it into multiple installments as well. Say I want to make my payments in pounds, for example. Okay, GBP. Click on that. So if I make my payment in 5 installments, I get my discount as usual. It just does the conversion automatically for me. So I click on this and I click on secure your seats, and I'll see the payment I make today. So today I'm going to pay £123. In May, I pay another 123. June, July, August, I complete my payment for the program. So I click on proceed. You'd see the breakdown. Okay. Enter your full name, enter your email, and then your phone number, and then you click on proceed to pay. How do you want to pay? I want to pay with my credit or debit card. Enter your credit or debit card. your postcode, your zip code, confirm payment. And the moment you confirm payment, what happens? You're going to get an automated receipt, confirmation of payment into your email, and you'd also get redirected to a registration form for you to complete your registration. The link to that registration form would also be sent to your email. All right, just in case you can't fill the form immediately. It gets sent to your email. You can fill the form afterwards, and it shows you what you've registered for. We collect more details from you. Are you joining from the UK, from the US, and so on and so forth? Again, for some of you who might have commitments in the month of May and you want to start in June, you can also defer to start in June. And the beauty about that is you are able to secure your discounts today and then you defer to start in June. And finally, for some people, you are torn in between. And I saw that in the chart. Some of you are thinking, oh, I want to do data engineering or cybersecurity. I'm not entirely sure, but I want to speak to a professional who can help me decipher, do I go for data engineering or cybersecurity? All you have to do when you receive the link to fill the form, it looks like this. And while filling the form, all you have to do is select the option, I need to speak to a professional. Okay. So while filling the form, fill all these details. Okay. Terms and conditions. You click on next. You see the discount and all of that. Click on next. Enter all these details as usual, but I want to show you how you select I need to speak with a professional. If you have any questions, you want to speak to any of my colleagues, you can send an email to enquiries@tenalytics.io, admission@tenalytics.io, or any of my colleagues on any of these numbers, or you can send us a WhatsApp message. Click on next. When did you make payments and all of that? Fill the form. Next, next, next. Here you select the program you've registered for. All right. So say I want to register for business analysis or agile project management. I'm sure I select the program immediately, or financial analytics. I click on that. However, if I'm contemplating between two programs, I'm not sure. All I need to do is select I need to speak to a professional. And once you complete this, click on next. We receive the form. We would organize a clarity session for you. So the clarity session helps you. We ask questions about your background, ask questions about your interest, and so on. And then we help you make a decision. Okay. So we don't make the decision for you, but we guide you. You make the decision ultimately, but then you have somebody to bounce your ideas off and a professional to help you do that. Okay. But if you're sure, you simply select the program you want. And for those of you who might be engaged in the month of May, but you want to secure the discount, you can do that. And of course, defer to start on the 7th of June. So the discount can take you, you can start either on the 10th of May or on the 7th of June. Okay, fill the form, joining from the UK, joining from Canada. And once you submit this, we get all the details we want, and then we organize for you to start your program based on what you selected right here. So I'm going to take questions, and before we call it a day. So we got into the Alberta Catalyzer program last year. And the Alberta Catalyzer program is a program designed for innovative startups looking to offer phenomenal services to their customers. Okay, so it was an amazing time. That's me right there. That's the co-founder of Tenalytics, Efemena. If you click on the link, it takes you to the Alberta Catalyzer website, and you get to see the amazing work we're doing within the space, Tenalytics, helping Africans and the Black community to break into global tech careers, helped over 2,500 Africans over the last 4 years, and so on. All right. And of course, somebody asked about accreditation the other time. This is the ACTD, American Council of Training and Development, and that's the link for you to verify as well. Okay, so that's Tenalytics and all of that. And I'll take questions before we call it a day. But remember, the discount is only available for the first 20 people, and the discount is off by Wednesday, the 30th of May. Is there a cutoff age? Absolutely not. There is none. If you're 40, 45, 50, we've had somebody who was about 58. He was about to retire and then he joined our data science program. And the reason why he joined, he wanted to set up his own consulting company at the, after he retired from work from 9 to 5. And he wanted to have the ability to converse with his clients, based on the recent trends, technology terms, and so on. And that was why he joined. No organization would discriminate against you because of your age. You're not likely going to find that anywhere. All right. So I'm going to take questions. If you have questions, you can drop it in the chat. Or if you want to speak, you can raise your hand and I'll call you up to ask a question. I don't see the discount in Canadian. The discount is available across all currencies. It doesn't matter the currency you select. Remember, the original fee is $900. I mentioned that. The discount is $750. Okay, that's a 20% off. $750. That's a discounted fee. So you want to make payments in Canadian dollars, for example. So if I click on Agile Project Management, select your currency that is preferable to you. If I select US dollars, you'll see the amounts right there. Okay, 150 for 5 months, one-time payment, you get to pay 700, 2 monthly payments, 350, 350. And if I change this to Canadian dollars, the exact conversion, it does it for me. So the discount is applicable to all the currencies right here. Okay, so you can pay with, using any currency that you deem fit, that is suitable to you based on your location or wherever you are. All right. I hope I answered that question. So I'm taking more questions. What about in Naira? The same thing. Just put in the currency and that's the discounted fee. The fee, when you know there is no discount anymore, is when you have 0 seats available. When there are 0 seats available, the discounts are gone. All right. Let me see more questions. What is the recommended path for someone who has a background or experience in brand strategy and design? Brand strategy and design, there are different career paths that will be applicable to you, Damaris. One that comes to mind almost at the top of my head is data. Anything data and marketing go hand in hand. All right. One of the reasons why you are even in this session today, Damaris, is as a result of data. So at Analytics, part of the ways we utilize data is we have personas of the type of people that want to get their journey started. And we get people like you into sessions like this to get your interest into the program you want to get into. All right. So we use data from different locations. Who are the people that are looking to start their journey in tech? Okay. And we target those people. Not everybody wants to start, not everybody wants to pivot as well. So marketing is a fantastic way. Who are my customers? What's the customer demography in terms of the age, the income level, the location, and so on and so forth? Okay. So brand strategy, brand design appeals a whole lot to marketing. Okay. And when you look at that, you also want to look at data analytics, data science. Okay. When you make a change to the brand colors, how do customers perceive the change, for example? And you'd see A/B testing, whereby you have a website with a particular type of color for the call to action button. You have another website with a different color. And then you want to compare which of these two buttons would more customers click on. And you make those changes from time to time and you collect that data and it helps to inform what color resonates a lot more with customers eventually. But the best thing you want to do, Damaris, is get into the clarity session. Okay, secure your discounts and get into the clarity session. Okay. Can I take 2 programs simultaneously? No, we don't advise you to do that. And that's simply because you'll be overwhelmed with a typical program would involve assignments, case studies, presentations. Okay. So if you are doing that for two different programs, you're going to get overwhelmed. So the advice is complete one and then you start the other one after you've completed the first, if that makes sense. Let me see more questions. Currently have sponsorship in care, studying data analytics by May. Will my sponsorship start afresh if I swap? No, it would not, Daniel. Okay, people ask this question all the time. If you are switching from your current sponsorship in care, for example, you don't start from scratch. You continue your sponsorship for the next 5 years, for example, and then you're able to secure your ILR. A whole lot of people have done this and they've been able to switch without any issue. Okay, all you need to do, just go to the gov.uk website, switching visas, and you would see clearly it's written there. It doesn't affect your path to ILR at all. Okay, I hope I explained that, Daniel. Okay, fantastic. Redemption is asking what data program can work with logistics, data analytics or data science. If you are comfortable learning Python, you are comfortable learning statistics, then go for data science. But if you are not, then go for data analytics. Data analytics, logistics and supply chain, or data science, you'd be for the lack of a better word, or something Nigerians call, you'll be a hot cake. Redemption. Hot cake is something everybody wants. Everybody wants that cake hot. And that's what you'd be if you add data, any data related skill to what you already have in supply chain and logistics. So you start looking at roles in demand planning, inventory management, in terms of optimizing inventory, in terms of demand planning. So a demand planner role is a very interesting role in any logistic company, where you have to use data to determine what any organization would need at a particular time, the inventory level, optimum inventory level, and so on and so forth. Is there a July, August, and September slot? Yes, we have new cohorts every single month. However, the discount is not available. It's not going to be available every month. So if you come to us this same time in the month of May. May, today is what? 26th. You come May 26th. Adeza, I want to join the cohort that starts in June. You're not paying $750, you're paying $900. Okay, so that's the difference, admin. We have cohorts. We started the first cohort in January. The last cohort for the year would be in December. However, you don't have the discount available. Okay. Let me see more questions. Which course do you advise a medical doctor? So many medical doctors have gone through our program. Most of them go for business analysis. Some of them go for data analytics. So there's so many more testimonials, more success stories. We don't have time to go through everything. This is Abigail, for example. Abigail was a care worker. I think I talked about Abigail's story. Back in Nigeria, she worked with the FIRS. She was an administrative professional, got to Canada, couldn't land a job, got into business analysis. Today, she works with the government of Alberta as a business analyst. You have Abisola. Abisola had some Python knowledge, but she couldn't land a job. So she needed the interview prep. She needed the mentorship sessions. She came to us. We prepared her, mentored her, and she landed a job as a machine learning engineer with a company in the UK and so many other amazing professionals. Michael works with a software company in the UK as a data engineer. Olugbemi works with two companies in Canada, as one as a business data analyst, the other one as a business solutions analyst. You have Biola, who was an accountant but transitioned into data analytics in the US. Muidin lived in Ibadan, Nigeria, and he worked for BBX in the UK 2 months after completing his program. He was earning in pounds, living in Nigeria, and that's the life. Working remotely from Ibadan, working for a company in the UK, and so many others. Idris Adebisi was a data engineer with Jaguar Land Rover. A lot of people want to buy Land Rover, want to buy Jaguar. Idris worked as a data engineer after completing our data engineering program. Today, he works as an analytics engineer with QuantSpark in the UK. Sonia works with British American Tobacco as a HR analyst after completing our HR analytics program. Ebube was a care worker as well. Ebube got a job with the NHS as a data scientist after completing our data science program. And this is Ebube saying, my new role is data scientist, my first proper job in the UK after 10 analytics training. She sent us this message and her ID card after she got this job. Also with the NHS and also on full visa sponsorship. All right. So many other testimonials. We're not going to have time to go through every single one of them. But what do you do after today's session? 3 things you need to do. Number 1 is get started. Jump in. The most difficult thing for so many people is to start the journey. Get started. Join the clarity session. If you have questions to ask, secure the discount, join the clarity, get started in one of the programs. The second thing you want to do is go to YouTube. All right. Type in 10 Analytics, subscribe to 10 Analytics. Okay. Click on the logo, subscribe to 10 Analytics, click on the logo, and it takes you to our YouTube page. And this is where you get access to years and years of content. All right. So many sessions we've held in the past. And you also have all the alumni job success stories, all the people that have gotten jobs, people that have created videos to share their stories. You get to see them from here. Okay. So if I click on this, for example, you'd get to see amazing professionals. You listened to Amaka the other time. How I got a job, my post analytics success story. Pavel, who got a job in the US earlier this month, that's him right here. He got a job 3 months after completing his program. Hope, who had all the certifications but couldn't land an interview. What she did, what she had to do. Adetayo, who got a job after his cybersecurity training, the machine learning from Abisola, got a job as a machine learning engineer. Oyefikayo, an accountant turned data scientist. Lois, an accountant turned project manager, and so on. All these amazing, amazing professionals, you get to hear from them. Okay. So all the other videos across things we've done in the past, you can also watch videos, click on the videos, and you'd see content. Yesterday, I beg your pardon, on Thursday, for example, we brought 3 different professionals who had gotten jobs after their 10 analytics journey. They came to share their story. Fantastic professionals. You want to learn from people like this. How did I get a job as a data analyst? How did I get a job as a cybersecurity professional? You can watch those videos right here. So that's the second thing you want to do. Get started, subscribe to 10 Analytics. So you're the first person that gets all the content from sessions like this. I've held multiple sessions, strategy to landing a visa sponsored job, and so on and so forth. The third thing you want to do is follow us across all platforms, from Instagram to LinkedIn and across all platforms. So you're the first to see the amazing work we do, and you get the most recent information and so on. Okay. How do I get the discount for June? The same way you get the discount today. Secure your slots. You can make payment in 5 installments. As long as you've made the first installment, you've secured the discount. And while filling the form, all you have to do is select, I want to start on the 7th of June. Okay. Damaris is saying, I'm trying to pay, but the May cohort is not coming out from the drop down. So you don't get to select the cohorts before you pay. So you do that after you've made payments, Damaris. So when you go to the, what's it called? The enrollment center, and you want to make payments. Say I want to make payment for cybersecurity, and I click on that. All I need to do is select how many installments. So cybersecurity, 2 slots are gone already. Out of 20, we have 18 left. So all I need to do is select, I want to make 5 installments. Click on that, and I click on secure my seat. Click on proceed, and all you have to do, enter your name, your email, your phone number, and click on proceed. I want to pay with my credit or debit card. Select that, fill your details, and click on confirm payment. Okay. Where you select if you want to start in May or start in June is when you get redirected to the registration form. The link also gets sent to the email you've provided in your contact information, this email right here. So make sure you enter the right email, you get your link sent right there. And just in case you don't get the link, in the same enrollment center, you'd see where you have upload your receipts. If you click on that, it takes you to that same form where the link gets sent to your email. Okay. So all you have to do is next, 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 like I showed you earlier. And when you want to start, just select June. Okay. And if you have any questions, you're trying to do something, there is a challenge you're facing, all you have to do, Damaris or anybody else, is send an email to any of these numbers. Okay. Send an email to enquiries@analytics.io. If it's a payments related issue, send an email to finance, pardon my handwriting, finance@analytics.io. That's if it's a payment related issue. But if it's just, trying to fill the form, you can send a WhatsApp message, send a message to any of these numbers or call any of these numbers and somebody would respond. Also, from the enrollment center, you can easily chat with any one of us by simply clicking on chat with Tenalytics. This directs you automatically to a WhatsApp and somebody would respond to any questions that you have. We can't take all the questions right here because of time, but I'm trying to see if I can. Can a data scientist get a job as a data analyst? Yes, Olawale. A data scientist can get a job as a data analyst, but a data analyst cannot get a job as a data scientist because you have to go learn Python and machine learning. But as a data scientist, you can get a job as a data analyst because you're going to learn Excel for predictive analytics, Tableau, SQL, and those are the skills required to land a job as a data analyst. Okay. I'm trying to see if we have more questions. I'll take my last question and then call it a day. Oh, I thought I saw some hands up, but I think they've dropped their hands. Okay, so we don't have any more questions. If you got value for your time, I know we spent more than we anticipated. I wanted the session to take just 2 hours, but we spent 2 hours plus minutes. But if you got value for your time today, type in a yes into the chat. If you got value for your time, type a yes into the chat. Can a data scientist get a job as a data engineer? No, 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 you can't. Okay. A data engineer's role is totally different from a data scientist role. Okay. As a data scientist, you are analyzing, you are building models, machine learning models, you are working with data to extract insights for the company to take decisions. A data engineer, on the other hand, does not do the analysis with the data. They do what? Ensure that the data is available. They extract data from wherever the data is generated. They create the data warehouse, the data pipelines, the data infrastructure, and they make the data available. It's easier for a data scientist to be a data engineer because as a data scientist, you're going to learn Python. So you're familiar with Python already. But a data scientist would not learn Apache Spark, Apache Airflow, for data pipeline, orchestration, scheduling, and automation. You're not going to learn Linux for your bash scripting as a data scientist. And these are skills required for a data engineering role. Okay. But your learning curve would be a lot shorter simply because you have, some prerequisites. You know Python, you know the different aspects of data. So that makes it easier for you to pick up and catch up on the other skills required. But you need training. It won't happen automatically. Can a BA get a job as a PM? Absolutely. Lois, when you watch the testimonial, Lois joined our business analysis program, but she got a job as a project manager. And the reason is simple. As a business analyst, you're going to learn Agile and Scrum. You're going to learn project initiation planning. You're going to learn stakeholder management, software development lifecycle. You learn how to use Jira to track project deliverables, Confluence to collaborate on projects. These are project management tools and project management skills. As a business analyst, like I mentioned earlier, you must have the skills to manage projects as well. And that's where you have interrelated skills, and you can get a job as a project manager with BA skills. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day at this point. I look forward to working with every one of you. You know somebody, you have a cousin, you have a friend, you have a colleague that can benefit from a program like this. Share the message with them. Discounts for the first 20 ends on Wednesday, the 30th of April. And I look forward to starting with every single one of you. All right. Thank you very much for being a part of our Saturday. And I look forward to having an amazing time with you in class. Cheers, everyone, and enjoy the rest of the weekend.